Welcome, race fans. This is Paul Page, the voice of IndyCars. And today we're excited to present another IndyCar event brought to you by the Dark Horse IndyCar Series. From the Unzers to Mears, Foyt, and Andretti, now it's Corley, Peterson, Davies, Gardner, and Teague. You can expect high speeds, incredible wheel-to-wheel action, and intense drama that you could only get in an IndyCar. So sit back and enjoy your favorite drivers from all over the world take the track. Dark Horse IndyCar drivers, start your engine.
Hello again, everyone. Happy Father's Day. I am Gary Gatso. Welcome to our coverage of the final round, round 12, and championship Sunday of season 7 of the Dark Horse DW12 series, coming today from the world's most famous race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As always, joining me in the booth is our driver expert, the Catalyst, Andrew Wood. Andrew, 21 drivers, 2 in contention, double points, 500 miles. I mean, all the numbers say it's going to be pretty exciting, but we're in for a long haul tonight. It's all going to come down between Schaus and Wagner for the points championship. What do we think?
Great to be with you here at the greatest spectacle in racing, the greatest race course in North America with the highest speeds, the most drama, and we're going to see some great racing tonight. And I can't call this championship at all, Gary. I think both of the championship contenders that you previously mentioned had quite an up and down season, with Eric Schaus being slightly more consistent with his higher place finishes, and Matt Wagner having his flashes of brilliance with some good finishes and maybe some finishes that he wishes he could have back. So I want to say that Wagner is a little bit of the underdog, seeing the points being the same way, but it's all to play for here at the 500, and we have a championship and a champion to crown tonight.
You see the points on the screen. 430 to 407 is the margins there. And we are double points, so anything can happen in a 21-car field. Watching the practice and getting your initial thoughts on testing the setup, what are your thoughts there as we got about 5:15 left to play here in qualifying?
Well, keep in mind, these guys are driving the DW12 chassis with not a lot of tool maneuverization. I just made up a word there. A lot of tool maneuverability is probably the word I was looking for. So these guys are really going to have to try and spend quite a bit of time. I'm sure that they spend time in practice racing in the pack together and figuring out what exactly it takes to stay close to the car ahead of you without getting too much effect of the aero turbulence. But yeah, it's just going to be the race in different stages. You have the first stage where people try and get the best advantage possible, and then maybe try and win out on some pit strategy differences, and then the last 100 miles or so being where you really go for it and where you really show what you've been hiding for the whole race. So yeah, this setup is definitely very conducive to this track. It's maneuverable. The cars are going to be racing side by side quite a bit, unless they're going to be trying to save some fuel. But I think it's going to be a matter of who has the most grit and determination, and I hope that the 2 championship contenders are putting themselves right into the mix and not just kind of sitting back and letting the race come to them, because that would be the more exciting way to handle this.
Go down swinging. That's how I feel about it, too. We are 3:50 left to play here. Craig Forsyth on the provisional pole to 231.554. Right next to him is Mark Cohn, who is the hottest driver in the series at the moment at 231.6. Peterson, 231.4. LGN, 231.3. Teed, 231.4. Just everybody, every single driver in the top 15 in the 231 bracket.
You have no idea how difficult it is to put 4 laps together here in a consistent fashion, and you can't just roll up to the car and put in 4 solid laps like that. It really takes a lot of patience, a lot of focus, and a lot of trying to get into some sort of rhythm, hearing your RPMs roll, hearing or watching certain parts along the track there where you're trying to pick up different viewpoints and places where you could turn in a way that's good for your car. So doing 1 lap is good. 2 laps, our usual oval qualifying is, you can easily kind of get a rhythm going, but try and double that to 4 laps is always a little bit tricky.
I was watching Jari Brubacher there. JB said in the pre-race he has not been feeling all that great at all this week. And he is going to get into the virtual cockpit and give it a try tonight. Hopefully we could see him race this whole race, because he is 3rd in the points. And really, with double points on the line, should not be very far out of the battle really at all. He can score double points and creep a lot closer to these top 2. But he is on the track currently qualifying. Warren Rogers, who we've seen him come into the series just as recently as New Hampshire, but is has driven in the Dark Horse Series before on the provisional pole, 231.754. Edson Santos coming off a win in the VOR Series, DW12 Series on Friday. That was at Homestead. He is currently provisionally P2, moving up to a second there, 231.7. And one of our points challengers tonight, Wagner, is currently slotted in at 3rd at 231.5, with his chief rival, Schaus, all the way down in 15th at a 231.1. And I think that might be it. We don't see anybody else on the track at the well. There's someone else on the track. There's Pagero putting some laps in. Brubacher's still on the track as well.
Any tiny mistake that these guys do during their qualifying run knocks that mile-per-hour average down just a tad. And as you could see, as you were mentioning before, Gary, everyone's in the 231 bracket. So is it really safe to say that someone like Warren Rogers nailed 4 laps completely? No, he just managed to squeak by and make the fewest mistakes during the 4-lap qualifying run there, and that's all it really takes to get the 4-lap speed, especially with how close this field is. Any mistake will really set you back at least 5 or even more positions, but we're about to do 500 miles here, and qualifying really isn't all that it's cracked up to be. Anyone from
right.
in this field can really take advantage and have a good run.
Well, about 17 seconds away. Rogers looking at his first pole in the series, I believe, going back into the archives here. As we're getting ready to go, lined up to go racing here, Warren Rogers. Let's see, do I have a poll for him? I don't think so.
Well, I believe you mentioned that he is relatively new from New Hampshire, correct?
Started New Hampshire, but had another start in the series prior to New Hampshire. He has 4 total starts in Dark Horse. And yeah, this is his first career pole, so a great place to have it at Indianapolis.
Yes, but as I previously mentioned, pole position is great for fanfare, but when it comes to actual racing, he may or may not want to stay out there. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he decides to strategize from here. And I'm looking at this grid here, which you're about to go through, and I could see quite a nice mix-up of some new names or some less frequent names that we see in this series, mixing it up with the big boys that are up there in the points. So I really think it's going to be kind of a wild first couple laps here, trying to get everyone sorted out.
And let's take a look at the weather while we're still waiting for them to grid up. Track temp is 76, a very mild 68 degrees, showing 0% humidity by one overlay, but the other overlay is telling me at least 2%. So let's just say there's 2% humidity out there. Light wind from the north that seems to be variable at the moment. Mostly cloudy at the moment as well, as you can see from this blimp screenshot. Let's get down closer to the grid and check out what's happening as we are starting to line up on the main stretch, just shy of the yard of bricks at the start-finish line. Waiting for everyone to load in. Warren Rogers is your pole sitter. Right next to him, Santos will load in. Rafi Eckert, his teammate, is in the lineup as well. Let's get the starting lineup going here. All right. And let's get to the starting lineup on the screen. And there you see Rogers on the pole at a 231.7. Santos right next to him also at a 231.7. Row 2, Wagner and Forsyth. Row 3, Cohn and Peterson. Row 4, the infamous LGN and Teed. LGN was actually telling me today, why do you call me the infamous LGN? And I'm just like, I guess it's kind of your rapper driver name. I don't know. But he's went ahead and accepted it as being a possible nickname for him. So let's run with it. LGN is currently lined up there in the fourth row with Teed. Bahutsky in the 6th in row 5. Murph, who hit me up in chat saying that he's slow, but that's just for qualifications. I expect Murph to be up in the front here as these laps start to tick down, is currently on the outside of row 5. Moving on, Say Hey Lewis Hayes in the 38, and he's in a throwback livery. And the Norton Spirit, Uncle Bobby used to drive that on the inside of row 6. Outside of row 6 is Chris Stouffer, one of the winners from earlier this season. Morales and Eckert in row 7. Schaus, your championship leader, and Heisong in row 8. Lovern and Hobson in row 9. Brubacher and Pagero in row 10. And Brubacher is the last car in the 231 bracket. Pagero 231.1. And we have one more car lining up, I believe. Yeah, Chris Reagan, no speed, just lining up. So just bring it and race. That's what we're going to do today as he lines up on the inside of row 11. There we go. Get ready to go racing.
I don't believe Chris Reagan is actually gridded, so he may just be in the session, but he will not be starting this race.
Okay.
Green flag.
Here we go. Green flag in the air for the Dark Horse 500 and the conclusion of the Season 7 schedule. And we're already too wide, too deep into turn 1. Now coming to the short chute into turn 2.
It looks like the front row actually didn't get as good of a start as the second row, so no one really wanted to move there, but they're going to wait till the back straight and they're going to start making some moves as we speak. And look at Rafi Eckert already putting it 3 wide right in the middle of the field there.
And Wagner to the top, and this is exactly what he needs to do. He needs to run and win this race for his best chance to win this championship. He needs to run away best he can because Schaus is back in this lineup. We'll have Schaus there. You see the blue car going 3 wide at the start-finish line right now. There's Schaus back there. Here's our hottest driver at the moment, Mark Cohn on the outside coming through turn 1. Cohn has won 4 out of the last 6 races. Now Cohn to the inside, looking for his shot to lead here at the Brickyard.
These top 10 drivers or so are really looking for their spot here on the track. This is always going to be what we're seeing on these restarts, this hectic maneuvering. And, they'll sort it out eventually. But for now, we get a good show put on for us. What'd you see there?
Oh, I just saw Cohn when he decided to go through the short chute there. Just stayed real low and at a very shallow entry into turn 4. Might have cost him a little speed coming down the straightaway, but he is deciding to stay to the inside of the race. So here comes that's Teed to the inside of Cohn.
There's a lot of downforce on these cars, Gary. A lot of guys getting mega huge runs, kind of similar to what we saw with the Hanford device back in the early 2000s there. These guys either are saving fuel up ahead and not wanting to lead and allowing these big runs to happen, or these guys are getting mega runs just running in the draft people. Yeah, you see... is that Wagner? Yeah, Wagner's trying to block
a little bit of Craig Forsyth. I think maybe kissed the wall right in the short chute there.
Very close, but I think he might have just gotten away with just a tap.
And he is now joined by his teammate Stouffer, up 9 spots. Teed up 9 spots. Now to the lead, up 7 spots.
You can see Warren Rogers' par pole sitter dropped all the way back down to P6 there. So like I was mentioning in the pre-race there, it seems that these guys, everyone kind of has their own agenda when it comes to starting Indy 500.
Here we go, 3 wide. Stouffer to the top.
I was watching Stouffer on the last couple laps, and he actually had a couple of interesting and unconventional lines here, which when these cars are stacked with so much downforce, you could really kind of pick any lane you want, and especially if you don't have the liberty of choosing the tools that you want to race with. Sometimes just doing something a little unconventional, a little different, kind of catches people off guard, and that could get you to the front as well. See Wagner's bringing the field low there on the front straightaway. He's already kind of playing some sort of games and showing them, hey, this is my championship that I want to take, and everyone that's kind of in my way, it really kind of has to deal with this. So
Right.
Wagner is stamping his authority nice and early. It's not going to work out just because of how packed up this race is right now, but I think he's already practicing for how he's going to get down the finish straightaway.
Here comes Teed to the bottom, 3 wide into 3. Very early. Wagner backs out of it. Looks like Stouffer kept his foot in it. Now Wagner's actually going to lose some momentum and fall back to about 6th.
That was very, very close to our championship contender, Matt Wagner. But it looks like he managed to get away with it. So Wagner completes another lap and sees another day. Let's take a look back here at Eric Schaus, our other contender, since we're talking about the championship. He's back here in P14. Just look at the cars ahead of him. I don't know if he has any intention of trying to move forward or just trying to pray that nobody does anything crazy up ahead where he has to dodge some sort of incident. But Schaus has already kind of realized that he's going to be mid-pack right now, and now it's time to figure out a new strategy to maybe do a quicker pit stop or maybe pick people off one by one. So
much like the IR18s are DW12, so it's got the IR18 Aero kit on there. But just like their brethren there, it's a pretty predictable stint length. It's right at 30 laps or so, depending on where you are in the pack. If you're up at the front, such as Stouffer and T, then you're punching the hole in the air. It's going to be maybe 30, just below 30 laps for a stint. If you're following, much along the lines of where Murphy and Hobson are, and you're just kind of biding your time, you might get more than 30 out of a stint. But you're probably looking anywhere between 29 to 34 laps or so on a stint. But the window to get to the finish on the minimum number of, and we see Casey Pahutsky coming off pit road. Not sure what happened to him, but he's a disconnection. That's not a great way to start this race. AJ Hobson's moving his way forward, as we always see AJ Hobson do. He starts kind of mired in the back, and next thing you know, there he is. So he's here in P5, trying to bully Warren Rogers off the line there in turn 3. It looks like he might be successful in that, but Hobson's coming. Hobson is not a fuel saver; he's a racer. So you're gonna see more of AJ Hobson, and he wants to get to the front as soon as he possibly can. He's got that vintage AJ Foyt Coyote orange helmet on to the inside of Craig. Now looking for third, not quite there. To the north-south end of the racetrack through turn 2. I just noticed that Matt Wagner fell all the way to P10. He's sitting P10 right now after those shenanigans of trying to hold on to the lead a few laps ago. So he has put himself even closer to Eric Schaus. So Eric Schaus might be noticing that and breathing a sigh of relief, saying, wow, my championship contender was up front, and suddenly now he's just reeled his way right back to me. But I think if I know anything about Matt Wagner, he knows that he had a spotlight, and he knows he won't be able to just climb all the way back up to the front again, especially with the AJ Hobson types out there that really want to try and lead this race. So now he's going to start to fuel save and try and save his tires and maintain his position and not let Eric get any closer. I was getting ready to say about the pit strategy. Here comes Hobson, 3 wide. Thinks otherwise about it. I was going to say about the pit strategy, really, though, the window to make it with the minimum number of stops really opens at lap 20 and after. If you stop before lap 20, you're adding another stop to probably the end of your race, depending on how the cautions fall. But these guys did an excellent job. And here comes A.J. Hobson at the bottom, all the way to the lead. These guys did an excellent job at Fontana and went caution-free. So hopefully we'll see more of the same here in Indianapolis. But as the pressures of the Brickyard build up and as we get later into the race and we see pack racing like this, I don't see us going caution-free.
It's going to be very difficult to go caution-free, but just think about what the pit stop situation is going to be like. Especially these guys are going 225 miles per hour on this track right now, and they have to slow down to get to 80, right? Is it 80 or 60 miles per hour?
It's going to be 60.
60
miles per hour. Pit road speed, yep.
Get to pit road speed, and that's a whole different ball game, and there's a good possibility that these guys we're going to see a speeding penalty crop up here and there, especially for these guys that are in this pack that are really trying to separate themselves from everyone else, because this first stint is all about staying with the pack. And then once we start this pit stop cycle, then you're going to start to see everybody break out into packs and start to work together and try and move their way forward more efficiently than the next group ahead or behind them.
Yeah, let's remind everybody of the rule set. This is 100% fuel. So there are no fuel capacity limitations here. 100% fuel capacity, unlimited tires, one fast repair. Pit road speed limit is 60 miles per hour. This is a 2.5 mile rectangular shaped oval. We're doing 200 laps, so it's going to be 500 race miles as the math calls for it, and double points here for the final race of the season for Season 7 here of the Dark Horse DW12 Series. We're about another 5 laps away from the earliest pit window opening up. I don't expect anybody to probably pit very early. I expect them to go probably to the end of this run, but anytime inside of the top first 20 laps, the closer you get to that 20 number, if there's a caution there, that might make up your decision if you're going to stay out a little bit longer or go to pit road. Here comes A.J. Hobson to the lead again, and he gets him going into 1.
It looks like these cars are all still together from P1 down to P16. Gary Lovern and Jari Brubacher back here in P15 and 16 were just swap drafting to get up to the pack. But as you can see, we're single file now. We had a nice double file formation going for about 12 laps or so, but as these tires start to wear, it's very hard to get any advantage on the inside or outside of the draft. On the inside line or outside of the draft, I should say.
So, go ahead.
I was just going to finish saying that now everyone's kind of holding station and just going to try to save every teaspoon of fuel they can before their first pit stop here. But some people are still going to be very impatient where they're sitting, so they're going to still try and move forward as best they can, but it's very difficult once you pop out of the draft.
Hobson, Eckert, Teed, Stouffer, Forsyth. Your top 5. Stouffer, Forsyth are teammates in the 4D team there, so they will probably be working together. Also teammates on the racetrack is Santos in 10th and Eckert your leader.
As you can see, it looks like that wall hit that Forsyth took early on doesn't seem to have hurt him very much. He's still hanging here in the top 5, so just a slight kiss of the tires, probably knocked the Firestone off the side of the tires there, no big deal. He continues on. Oh, it looks like Teed might have touched the apron there entering turn 1, but he holds position, but that allows the top 2 to get away just a little bit, and I'm sure Rafi Eckert sees that and says, okay, come on AJ, let's start swap drafting, get away from the pack.
Brubacher popping out further in the back, tucks back in, going high now through the high line. High line seems to be in service today.
Every line's in service when the track is this cold, so you're going to see it. But that just means that that's not also the fastest way around. So if you go high, you're not going to be able to really make any moves there. Yeah, Jari is the one trying to, as we mentioned before, he's probably a little under the weather, so he's hanging out in the back of the pack. But don't count someone like JB out either.
They're not.
No way. He's got a lot of experience here. He's just kind of measuring what the field is right now, and he's as good as anyone during pit stop cycles. So he's sitting in P15 right now, just passing Schaus in there. But
yeah, you're looking at outside of Schaus there.
Yep, he's looking, but I'm sure he can find a way to get forward a couple of spots on these pit stops, which will be coming up in probably about 10 or so laps here, 10 to 12 laps. I just noticed Pahutsky has unfortunately lost connection yet again, so not a good night for him. These cars are starting to wiggle a bit coming out of turn 1, Gary. These guys are running these tires ragged. Next lap we go by, we can take a look at especially the top, well, perhaps not the leaders or so, but once you go to 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, these guys are really wheeling it in turn 1. So this snake that you see is pretty much intact, especially when you get on the straightaways, but it might start to break up a little bit for some guys such as Eric Schaus that just kind of was hanging out and saving his tires. So let's take a look as they go into turn 1 here. Actually seemed a little bit more orderly that time, if I do say so, but yeah, the last lap in particular, I'm not sure if there was a gust of wind or something that kind of prevented these guys from really getting through, but I definitely saw a lot of cars kind of wiggling right on the exit.
So there is a southerly wind, so it's got wind from the north to the south right now at 4 miles per hour, so they are getting a push right now down the front stretch and getting a headwind into the backstretch. So they would get a little loose right about here as the wind hits the back end of their cars, maybe a little loose right here. And now they're going to have a wind, if I called that right, maybe I got it mixed up.
Yeah, I really hate to do this as the weatherman, as everyone knows me, Gary.
Yeah, I should turn it over to you.
Yes, southerly wind means winds are coming from the south. So
that's right.
From turn 1 and 2. I really tried hard. I just wanted to let you roll.
No. That's why you're here. You're the driver expert. I'm just
a weather expert.
And the weather expert.
But it was killing me. I was biting my tongue. I'm like, don't say it. maybe he'll realize, and you did. You were able to realize. Oh, maybe I don't have this quite right. But yeah, they got the tailwind down the back straightaway right now.
We're watching.
So they're hitting the highest speeds entering turn 3 at the moment. But all that does is the wind coming from the south gives you a little bit of trouble as you enter turn 1 because the wind is trying to push the car away from the corner, so you're really putting a lot of stress on that right rear tire.
Alrighty, with Stouffer is getting a run, 231 as he rolls back out of it a little bit. 227 entering turn 1, down to 218 at exit. At the 224 going into 2. 224 on exit. Now down the back straight. Here's 232. I think I had to take some weather classes. That was part of my geography minor that I backed into in college.
I'm not sure if the wind shifted, but now I see it's north at 6 kilometers, so that would be the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So, winds are really kind of swirling around here. I hope there's no tornadoes in the future.
Everybody break out their Radar Omega app and.
Yep. Especially with the just partly cloudy skies, I don't think we're going to see any of that. But good news, Casey Putsky has rejoined. He is unfortunately 10 laps down at the moment, but he is tenaciously back in this race and hoping to just get some more laps, lock some more laps, and test some good data for the team for next season.
And he might be able to help that group behind him. There's 3 cars right behind him, led by Morales, Peguero, and Hayes. They've kind of lost the lead draft. Maybe they can use Casey here to build up a 4-car freight train, see if they can't maybe pull them a little bit closer to the front. But 25 of 200, getting very, very close to the first round of pit stops as Eckert and Hobson continue to swap the lead at the front.
Yeah, I imagine that Hobson might be one of the first people to pit as he was trying his best to come through the pack while the rest of these guys were saving a little bit of fuel. But yeah, we're coming up in the next 4 or 5 laps or so.
JB
here.
on pit road.
They took the Gary Gotso strategy here of maybe not lap 20 or so, but he's going to do something a little bit different, stay on the lead lap just in case there's a caution that comes out. He would go straight to the front.
Yeah, he he was on pit road for 48.6 seconds. Maybe did he have an incident and we missed it? And had to tow? Because he's showing a lap down. Hopefully he's okay. He said he's not feeling well, so hopefully he didn't have a moment at home.
You're not seeing any long laps from him, so it looks like I don't know. Maybe he had a speeding penalty as well, which is another possibility. As we mentioned, just discussing the leaders too, trying his best to try and make any ounce of distance forward he can. Perhaps he got a speeding penalty in the process. Let me check on that.
So, one of the lessons that we've learned all season long is when we've been doing these long green flag runs is getting to pit road safely. We saw problems with it primarily at Motegi, but we saw it at other times during the season. Hopefully AJ pump fakes to the outside, goes to the inside, and gets the lead. Very aggressive move there. A lot more aggressive than I thought it would be at this point in the race. But we're going to see how many people were practicing green flag pit stops. I saw some during practice, but I did not see a lot of them practice during the open session there.
I think I figured out what JB's problem was. I believe he didn't realize his pit box was as close to the end of pit entry as possible, and he managed to slam on his brakes and spin out in the middle of pit lane there, which he then had to back up and do a 5-point turn to get into his pit box. No damage or anything, but unfortunate that JB's used to qualifying higher, and he probably saw his pit crew sitting a lot closer to him than he thought, and he unfortunately missed his box. So no harm, no foul, just lost the lap, no damage to the car, no issue. But that also might be a cost of his illness as well. Just totally not focused on what's going on in the pit lane today.
Right, gotcha. There have been times now. How many times have you actually done a race when you haven't been feeling great?
I'm gonna say that I'm in pretty good health in general. Oh yeah, we got our first.
Oh no!
Oh wow, that was big. I think Joseph Morales might be coming in though from the back of the field. I heard him make a pit call, so our first pitter will be back here in the back of the field, and this kind of makes sense because these guys are not really running with the pack at all, so they're kind of wasting a bit more fuel than these guys that are saving fuel ahead. So Morales is our first pitter.
And with Piguero, with Piguero as well.
But I think that's going to start the roulette wheel here. So we're going to start to see people kind of peel off one by one. But it's going to be interesting with these guys that are in the middle of this pack, too, because if you're pitting in the middle of the pack and you didn't save as much fuel as the guy behind you or in front of you, that could be problematic. So, yeah, I figured AJ would be one of the first people in because his goal was to get to the front, so he was not saving any fuel at all. Gets to his pit box nicely, up on the jacks. No issues. I don't believe he had a speeding penalty at all, so he'll exit right about 5 seconds ahead of the leaders, and let's see how it goes. I believe Jeff Heissong might be coming in next. Some more of these guys at the back. We've got a couple of leaders coming in as well.
Heissong on pit road. Peterson. It's Teed. Peterson's still on the racetrack. There it is. One of the Lerner Energy, cars is on pit road. That's Eckert. Lovern's there. That is Say Hey Lewis Hayes coming in the Norton Spirit.
Yeah, looks like we're getting more cars next lap. I see everyone managed to get into their boxes nicely so far. Down to any speeding penalties.
Wagner, Stouffer, LGN, and Schaus. So championship implication pit stop right here.
Yep, this is the first one, and you got 6 more to go, or 5 more to go rather. So this is the first of many. So good to kind of take it a little easy on your way in this time, and hopefully it works out.
Schaus down and away. Wagner down and away. Schaus gets around LGN. Go ahead.
These guys. We got a big bottleneck coming into pit lane. Watching for pit speed. Wow, that was a lot of maneuvering there. But what I was going to say was I noticed that the leaders had come out right behind Gary Lovern So there was a lap there where Craig, Mark, and Warren Rogers all managed to get some draft help. So was that enough to pull them ahead of some of these guys that pitted a little bit early?
There's Craig. There's Peterson. Cone and Murphy. Let's see.
They're all coming right on the exit of pit road. I think these guys that pitted early it's very close. I believe we're gonna find everyone's gonna find each other again with the way this has worked out. No
AJ Hobson. AJ, I don't care if cars are coming up to speed. I'm going to the inside and takes control of that pack going into 3.
Yeah, it looks like Charles T was the best on the pit there as he and Chris Stouffer and his teammate Craig Forsyth managed to beat everyone out, but I don't believe it's over yet. I think that everyone's going to find themselves once again. So no real clear winners on this pit stop here, except for some people that may have jumped maybe 4 or 5 spots. But as you can see, Schaus and Wagner are 2 positions apart, P6 and P8.
Well, and who went long on that one? Well, Forsyth went long. He went 33. Peterson went 33. Cone went 33. Murphy went 33. Rogers went 33. Santos went 33. If they could keep that up, that makes that last critical stop. If we go green, now I've just jinxed this. Right there, it's just very clear at the top. If we still only have a long way to go, only 35 laps done. But if we go green, which we saw them do at Fontana, that last stop is going to be critical to make it as tight as possible.
Looks like Wagner and Hobson are like right on the cusp of getting that draft back. Right now, it looks like they may have fallen back, but I believe that lead pack will eventually start to slow down a little bit and bring everyone together. But Wagner's lucky to have someone like Hobson that is just determined to get to the front so bad to work and swap draft together. But yeah, it looks like that front pack right now may be just a smidge faster than this second pack. Let's look at lap time. We got these guys doing 40.1s and the leaders doing 39.8. A couple low 40s, but they're not necessarily catching this pack either.
We can show you last lap speeds there on the tree. Speaking of speeds, the unofficial track record held by Ari Leindijk at 239.6, set that way back in 1996 on Fast Friday. There's Rogers and Wagner side by side through the north side of the racetrack. Then he backed up. Go ahead.
I was going to say Warren Rogers managed to kind of mess up the swap draft situation that was going on between Wagner and Hobson. You can see Wagner did a 40.3 and Hobson did a 40.1. Rogers did his best lap there, but it's not faster than the guys up ahead of them doing the swap draft. So the leaders are doing 40.1, 2, and 3. Hobson, Wagner, and Rogers, if he puts himself there, need to be doing 39s to catch his pack ahead, or that top 5 will start to pull away.
AJ has the Fuzzies car in a similar position as it would be in real life when it ran this race.
Contact.
I saw that.
And that just hurt them another couple tips.
I think we see nose wear on the nose of Warren's car, but AJ with the purple lap, a 39.4.
I think Rafi Eckert had a bad turn 2 there, and this may actually help. Oh, you see Matt Wagner is like, enough of this. I think Rafi had a bad turn 2 there, and I think he might have put himself at risk of possibly bridging the gap here to get the second pack up there.
LGN to the inside of Schaus. He's not going to be able to pull that off, but we'll watch Eckert now try to make up for that bad turn 2. Last time through turn 2, this time in front of the Riley Children's Hospital suites.
I think Warren Rogers might hopefully get some sort of lesson there. And as you mentioned, this is his 4th race, his first Indy 500. sometimes you got to be taught by the guys around you just by how the driving is in order to realize how this works, how you work together, and how you manage to get a good
and
position on track there. So
you called it. You called it. That second group managed to catch up to that first group, and now they're intermeshed. And Warren Rogers trying to find a spot to get back in line, but he's unable to do so. It's going to cost him some momentum. Right now, Wagner getting a good run down the backstretch. I don't know if it's going to be able to be get draft enough to get up to him to make a pass into three. But A.J. Hobson, who was leading that group, now is up in the P4, getting around Forsyth and Eckert on the going into one last time. Now he's coming down the front straight. He's getting good runs down this front straight, making a lot of bold moves. Now to the inside of Peterson. Might even take a look at Stouffer.
Very, very close there. Very, very close. But yeah, this is going to be this is going to be one of those trial by fire races by Warren Rogers. Like, he's never dealt with a situation like this where a lot of the this is a race where you can't be all in it for yourself. There's a time to be all in it for yourself, but when you're racing in the beginning stages of a race like this, you have to realize where you are on the track, who you're working with, and that is what gets you these good finishes. And it's very tough to say that because every racer wants to be all for themselves.
AJ to the front once more, clear in the one.
I think Warren Rogers will go to school here, and it'll be all good after this race is over. He'll have taken a lot in, and he's got speed, so I think we'll see more of him.
He's following one of the best right there, Craig Forsyth. If I ever needed to take notes off of somebody, if it's not Stouffer, it's Forsyth. If it's not Forsyth, you can take notes from Eckert. He's a former series champion in these cars in the VOR DW12 series, so he knows how to run these things. Just take notes and follow suit. Now we got Warren Rogers to the inside. Going to take off two here. Going in the one, move Rogers up to fourth in the short chute.
As previously mentioned, we were going to find the whole pack together again. No one really got a good advantage in that pit stop, but those guys that you mentioned that ran the longer stint there managed to find a way to get better fuel mileage and still on the same position on track, and that's kind of what it's all about, really. So yeah, you still see that we're about a little past a third of the way through the stint here, and we're still a little much too wide through the first couple of first part of the top five here. So I don't think it's really figured out yet who really wants to lead this, but unless you're AJ Hobson, of course. But AJ Hobson has already kind of made his bed with that early pit stop, so it's the best way for him to just strategize this race, and he'll figure it out later on.
Well, he's only officially led only 5 laps. I mean, he's led a lot of this race, but he's only led 5 laps. He just keeps getting nicked there at the start-finish line. Charlie Teed right behind him. He's led 8 of 45. And our pole sitter, Warren Rogers, making his way back up to the front. He might actually make a move here going into one. Oh, AJ decides to do a little bit of a fade going into one. Does not deter Rogers. Rogers to the lead now. He's going to stay to the inside through the short chute. Give him a shallow entry into 2. So the top looks like 12 now are in direct contact. Santos has fallen away from this group. He is just a tick behind. Let's see, there he is. 1.8, 1.7 behind Murphy.
Seems like 40.2 is your lap time to run by yourself, but all the cars up ahead of him managed to run 6s and 7s, so he's going to close up quite a bit there, I believe.
And then the next group behind Santos is led by Hysong, all by himself. Lovern also by himself. Morales is by himself, and we have Pahutsky, who's back there with Pagero. They are looks like they might be working together. And then Lewis Hayes only in his second start of the series, I believe. Just kind of feeling things out there in the Norton spirit. Brubacher is kind of well in the back. He is 19th, but he's back on the lead lap, and he's probably due in for his pit stop here soon. He only went 24 laps on his first stint. He's now 22 on his second. Let's see if he just goes a little bit further, but I'm not sure how much economy saving he's doing back there by not having someone to run with. Back up to the lead, though. It is Warren Rogers is your leader.
Hudski is coming in this lap, so that's pretty much just where he places himself during that disconnection issue he was dealing with. So Hudski will be doing his pit stop now. Oh, gets a little bit messy pit entry there. It's pretty good car control from Potsky there compared to what I've seen in the past. So good job, Potsky, there, to holding on to that. We reached the point in the stint now where people are just gonna kind of find where they are. Like, you got the AJ Hobson, Warren Rogers types that need to get to the front as soon as they possibly can, and then you have the guys that behind that say, please go up there and I will just sit here and save fuel. So you have your Teed, your Stouffer, your Craig Forsyth, your Wagner, all these guys that want to just say, okay, go ahead, blow all the fuel up there. I'll just sit right in line here. And this is the part of the race that we're starting to shift into that middle part of the race that I was talking about in the pre-race discussion there, where your first stint, you see what you have. Second stint, you're like, okay, let me find my spot in line. As long as I'm up with the front pack, I have nothing to worry about. And then the last 100 miles or so, that's when you really show what you got. And you put yourself in the best position to have your best final pit stop to win the race.
Eckert to the inside of Stouffer. Not enough momentum to pull that pass off. Stouffer keeps the position. So the first quarter of the race is done. We've been caution-free to this point. I want to thank everybody for joining with us. This is the final race of Season 7 of the Dark Horse DW12 Series, coming to you from the world's greatest race course, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thanks for joining us once again on this Father's Day 2024. So Ari Leyendyk backed up his unofficial lap from Fast Friday on back when he had to qualify. Now, he's a Day 2 qualifier because his Day 1 qualification was disallowed because his car did not meet the weight requirements. So that's why he has the fastest pole speed record actually belongs to McLaughlin, who set that this year. But not the track record. Everyone kind of doesn't understand how McLaughlin has the pole speed, but not the track record. And you just have to cite old IndyCar, not really IndyCar, old USAC qualification regulations here at the Speedway. And if you don't understand it when I tell you the first time, you're not going to understand it really when I tell you the second time. I'm just going to tell you that basically there were 4 days of qualifying, and each day almost was kind of a separate qualifying session unto each the total race period until everyone lined up. People that qualified on Day 1 lined up ahead of people on Day 2. People that lined up qualified on Day 3 lined up ahead of people on Day 4. And then when the field was finally full, then you could bump out the slowest car in the lineup. If, again, you don't understand that, trust me, it took me a while as well. But Ari Leyendyk has the single lap and 4-lap track records here at Indianapolis, set on Day 2 of quals back in 96, single lap 237.498. And the 4-lap official record, 236.986. Andrew, I was interested. I was watching an older interview with Ari, with Robin Miller talking to him about the track record speed, but at the time when it was 19 years old. And Ari said that his car was so good that if they had the unlimited boost, or if they had the better Ford engine which ended up going to the kart guys up at Michigan, he said that he should have very easily done 240 and not thought much about it.
That's a little bit alarming, if you ask me. Yeah, back then it was all just based on whatever you could wrench your engine and turn your gear stack into, right?
Well, they still had the engine leasing, and that was the last year of engine leasing for at least IRL before they went to having and owning your own engines and turning wrenches on your own. You could either do your own engine or you could hire someone like Roush or Yates, which a lot of people did back in the early IRL days to build their engines. But yeah, engine leases were still part of the thing going on back in '96. The biggest thing that was going on, though, at the time is that if you maybe remember, maybe not remember, the speedway was just recently paved, so it was a brand new sheet of asphalt. And there is Santos now catching up the back of the pack, and he's on the inside of LGN now, so he has rejoined this battle. And also, there was a middle of a tire war. There was still Goodyear and Firestone racing against each other at the time.
I wish we had those tire wars back again, because I really think that would make a big difference in terms of what tire life is like and how long these guys can run on different sets of tires, because that would definitely be something.
Yeah, you're not going to really experience that much in this sim, but if you want to go back and do some old school DOS sim racing and back in IndyCar Racing 1 and 2, yeah, you could choose what tires you wanted to run with. You could go with the Firestones, you could go with the Goodyears.
I imagine we're going to see AJ Hobson pitting very soon.
Yes, he is 23 laps on his current stint. He went 33 last time, so that's a Hobson, excuse me. 27 laps on his current stint, 30 what he did last time. So he's about due from any time in the next 3 laps, we figure.
You mentioned Edson Santos last. He is wasting no time trying to make his way forward right now.
Yeah, it's almost like he was back there just trying to hit a number, and then once he hit a number or saved his tires, he's like, I'm going. And he caught up to this group all by himself. And it's not like this group was really racing. They were pretty much all single file.
All it's going to do is kind of slow the whole entire pack down. So Edson was kind of blowing a lot of fuel here, and I believe he's on the same AJ Hobson strategy. It's like, you know what, at this point, I want to get as far forward as I can to make sure that I don't lose the pack. Who we got coming out of the pits here? That Morales? Yeah, Morales just done his pit stop, which means that Hobson is a lap or 2 away from coming in.
Yeah, Morales going 28 laps on that stint. Here comes Eckert. That's Santos' teammate taking a look to the inside, going down the backstretch into 3. Not quite able to pull that off, still holding on to 4th. Expecting to see AJ make that turn down pit road any time now.
I believe this lap you'll see Lovern. Yep, Lovern's coming in. Another car that's kind of stranded off the back of the pack here and running his full fuel burn without any help for fuel safe. So Lovern's in. Jeff Heisong probably will be coming in next lap or 2. But yeah, we're going to start to see this lead Wheel of Fortune, as I call it, begin. So I believe Hobson is either this lap or next.
See, Warren Rogers led 12 of 60 laps so far. Eckert again taking a peek. Who's pulling off there at the backside? Is that Heisong? I think Heisong actually ran down that pack too.
Little by little, he was starting to catch, but it's very easy to do that when you're single file because everyone has a checkup moment, especially on the side of the track where you get the most understeer due to the wind. See, Matt Wagner is trying to climb his way back forward little by little. Keep an eye on that championship battle too. Schaus is still hanging in P13, kind of right around where he's been for a while. We got someone diving in here. Looks like that
is AJ.
AJ, yep. Looks like he got down to the speed limit very easily there. He's kind of running his own race here. He's going to try and just run it out as best he can.
Yeah, he went 30 and 30, so he's hitting the number right on.
I imagine the next car you'll see is Rogers, especially because he wasted a lot of fuel trying to catch up. Now, keep in mind, these leaders have caught up to Jeff Heisong. So they're getting a little bit of draft, and they're pulling the whole entire pack.
Here's Rogers.
Little by little. Oh, that's
I think he did it. I think he did it.
I think he did it. I was very worried as he was slowing down.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, whoa!
But Jeff Heisong put himself out on the pit exit right in front of the leaders, and he brought the Eckert here, and this could bring the whole pack forward. However, the cars at the back of this line are all still checking up on the old tires, so it pulled the group forward a little bit, but the back of the field kind of maintained a little bit. So now you're going to start to see the Chris Stofers and perhaps Mark
T. Stouffer. Here comes one of the, I think that's Rafi. Well, that's Eckert. Excuse me, Edson Santos. Eckert stayed out. He's our leader. Or amongst our leaders. Wagner is the leader. Matt's trying to get a little bit of a sniff of the draft there from Heisong to get a run on the outside.
Yeah, this lap you're going to see the Wagner, Peterson, Mark Murphy, and perhaps LGN come in, I believe. Oh, LGN looked like he wanted to pit, but then kind of changed his mind last second. Not sure if that was planned or not.
Now, Cone or Wagner, did they speed? Actually, it wasn't Wagner. Excuse me, Cone. That was Schaus, our points leader. Down and away. So he's good. He's good to go. Wagner. Down and away. So, and right next to one another.
Next group coming in, looks like it's going to be Cone, Murphy, Eckert coming in with LGN. LGN did make it one more lap. I thought he managed to hurt himself there by staying out an extra lap. It looks like it was good enough for him. Everyone seems to be getting into their box nice and cleanly. No one's blowing past their pit box. Yep, everyone's in nice and safe. So another round done. Now I imagine Peterson
and Forsyth. Yeah, Peterson and Forsyth.
Peterson's done a good job to save at least one lap of fuel from his last run, because I believe he was an early pitter the first time around. So Peterson's coming in all by himself.
Not Forsyth. He's staying out. He's staying right tucked behind Heisong. He's like, thank you for the free mileage.
34 laps for this crew here. This is a really good run from these guys. Craig Forsyth. It might just be Forsyth, actually, that's left.
Yeah, it is. It's everyone else has completed their first stint. Or their second stint, excuse me. My mistake there, yeah.
I was going to say, I'm already seeing that there's a group of 5 that managed to do pit stops a little bit better. AJ Hobson's stuck behind Charles Teed right now, about a second and a half back. So some swap drafting will have to take place here unless Craig Forsyth manages to bridge the gap here.
And there is Craig on pit road. Long run down pit road, 60 miles per hour. You might as well feel like you're walking.
As much as we see the breakaways from the early pitters and everything, these guys are on a slower speed coming out of pit lane, so it's very easy to bridge the gap between these two packs here in order to try and get some sort of advantage. So that's exactly what these drivers are looking for. They're all very selfish, trying to get that sniff of draft they need to make sure they don't lose the pack up ahead.
Well, watch this rejoin.
I have to say, Gary, very clean race so far.
Yeah.
We've gone through 2 green flag cycles here, and as you can see, Craig rejoins right at the back of this pack. Perfect bridge for these guys that need to make sure that they stay with the lead pack, and the lead pack is intact right now. All 12 drivers that were in the lead pack last time managed to find each other again, so these guys trudge on and they stay in the same pack. So these guys are definitely playing nice right now, but all bets will be off a couple stints from now. As you can see, these guys are trying to make hay where they can. Going 3 wide into turn 1. Everyone's trying to find their spot on the track right now, but this whole pack stays together for another run.
Yeah, Mark managed to make his way up to the front. So Mark Murphy got a chance to lead some laps there. So like I was telling him, he said in the pre-race that I lack pace. I'm slow. And I'm like, well, I'm thinking, something tells me you'll find your way to the front.
It's very important for you to get on and off pit lane very cleanly, and these guys are managing to find a way now 2 straight stints in a row to make a very clean pit stop in order to try and not lose the gap to the cars up ahead. I'm seeing the behavior from Charles Teed right now. He wants to get to the front now.
Yeah,
he's not
watching
messing
him
around and saving the fuel.
Nope.
And
a
little kiss to the wall there. But I think same thing as Forsyth. I think that's just a tiny scrape. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, a little monkey see, monkey do. When you kind of follow that car in front of you, kind of get into a bit of a trance, and then all of a sudden he's in the wall, and then you're in the wall. So that's very common here in the sim. But here comes Teed getting a good run off of 4 down the main straight. He's going to tuck and pull out now on the inside of Hobson going into 1. He might just full send it into 1 on Peterson. And send Teed not quite to the lead. They're battling out in the short chute right in front of the turn 2 grandstands. Now on turn 2 exit, still side by side down the backstretch. Now I bet you Hobson takes it 3 wide. Here we go.
Yes, yeah, I was just gonna say that. You stole the words right in my mouth there, Gary. Now keep in mind we have a lap car coming up ahead in Iker Peguero. He's managed to find himself right at the front of this zoo up here, if you want to call it that. These guys are really trying to find their way, and this is the part of the stint where you're like, okay, where do I find myself? What part of the pack do I want to sit in comfortably? As you see, Teed is now taking the lead. I could definitely tell Teed was trying his best to get up front there, so they're going to catch Peguero very soon, and Peguero is going to play a big part in trying to break up this pack here. So it's going to be very important for these guys that are right in the middle of this pack here to make sure that Peguero gets put all the way back and they don't lose any time.
They're about 2 seconds away from reaching Peguero, about a second away from reaching his draft envelope. Peguero's got to hopefully he knows that the leaders are coming up on him through his relative, if he's running his relative. At some point, considering the size of this group and considering the pace that Peguero's running by himself. Now, he's by himself, so he's not going to be as fast as the rest of these cars that are in this train. I maybe find a spot where I could just pull over, roll out of the accelerator, and just let the group on by.
You're mentioning Jeff Hysong hanging on to the back of the group before. He's just outside of the draft range right now, but I think he's running fast enough laps, running those 40.2, 40.3 range, where those guys will eventually fall back to him, and especially if Peguero gets right in the mix there, I think Hysong will rejoin this pack here and find himself in a spot where he's right with the pack again, not able to really close up to them too much, but able to maybe save a lap of fuel for his next pit stop.
So let's reset the field after we've done with pit stops, and we are catching lap traffic. Peguero actually just needs to pick a line now and be predictable. He's doing a little bit of a jerking down the front stretch there. I think everyone would prefer that he would just hold the line. Teed, Peterson, Hobson, Rogers, and Murphy, your top 5. Cohn, Schaus, Wagner. Schaus and Wagner, those are your 2 championship rivals that we're looking at coming into today. They are 7th and 8th, and if they were to finish right now in this position, giving the championship to Schaus. Edson Santos 9th. Eckert, his teammate, is in 10th. Forsyth 11th. Stouffer 12th. LGN, Luis Gonzalez Nunez 13th. Is the last car in this 13-car train. Hysong is 14th, as we just showed you a little bit ago. There he is. See him just coming off of corner 4. A little bit further back is Lovern, Morales, Hayes, Brubacher, and at the front end of this, and almost getting ready to go a lap down, is Iker Peguero in that red car.
These guys are quickly closing on Iker Peguero there. He's going to be the blood in the water for these guys. So hopefully Peguero is able to yield to these leaders here, and we don't have any incidents.
Let's ride with Mark Murphy in the Miller American, as he is in 5th spot on the on the timing and scoring tower, but 6th in this current picture as they are now approaching Iker Peguero. Peguero is going to stay high, allowing the 2 leaders on by. He's going to stay high again through 1. Staying high through the short chute, staying high through 2, and that allows at least the first 5 on by.
Peguero manages to collect the wall a little bit there.
Well, hits it again there, but overall a good job by letting most everyone on by there.
Yeah, it looks like he's managed to let the whole pack by, but unfortunately for Jeff Heisong, he was not able to take advantage of any sort of calamity that happens in the middle of the pack there, and Heisong unfortunately is still well out of draft range right now, so when this next round of pit stops starts up, he's going to be the first one to come down pit lane. You can see that these guys in the front of the pack are really trying to just stay in formation and not really upset the waves too much for the pack racing that's going on in front of them. See, Luis Gonzalez Nunez is the last car in line here, and he's not even really trying to make any big moves right now. I think he's just trying to save his fuel and get on a strategy similar to those that have gone about 33, 34 laps on this run.
Two laps till we get to the 200-mile mark.
You know, it's very interesting to see that these guys that take turns leading out front, it's like, okay, it's my turn to get out front now, and I want to be out there burning all the fuel. And you have the Craig Forsyth types that like to save fuel every run, that just kind of hang out in the middle of the pack and do what they can to make sure that they save the right amount of fuel, but they're still in the mix. Like Craig Forsyth right now is still sitting in P6, so he's doing what he is he in P6? That's Mark Cohn. But it seems that these guys have gotten to know how each other races.
Yeah.
And they'll do what they can to save every teaspoon of fuel they can each lap, because every little bit of fuel they can save will show what happens later on in the race.
Warren Rogers up to second. AJ puts a bit of a block on him to stop the run. That third car in the line is getting a heck of a run, but here comes Rogers to the inside around AJ to the lead. Now it's Warren Rogers' turn to lead the group. AJ Hobson second, Charlie Teed third, Peterson fourth, Murphy fifth. There's one of the Leaner Energy cars. They're actually moving up together. Santos and Eckert now 6th and 7th.
Always focusing on that championship battle here between Schaus and Wagner, and Schaus is P7 right now, so he's doing what Schaus does and just kind of hanging out and sitting in the middle of the pack here. He was at the back of the pack at the start of the race, as you remember.
Yep.
But he's now found himself right in the middle of the pack, and he's keeping Wagner behind him, which is all Schaus needs to do to win this championship today. I see Yari is on pit lane right now. Again, he's off strategy based on what we saw before. So Yari will fall a lap down yet again. He sits in his pit box nicely there. And another pit box or pit stop rotation done for Yari.
Yeah, 27 laps on that stint versus the 29 he did the stint before. So that's kind of what it cost you for running by in the air by yourself. He's probably thinking that there should have been a caution by now, but remarkably, there's not even been really. And again, let's circle 83 laps. I'm saying it right now. We haven't had really any close events yet.
I wouldn't say that, Gary. We've had quite a few bits of contact this race so far, but nothing that's resulted in a full course yellow. And the pace of these guys is incredible. I have to say that even Lewis Hayes right now, which is the next car to be lapped, is about a half a track away from the leaders. So he's managed to stay in his own little group with Gary Lovern. And it's Gary Lovern and
got Morales in that, and Pahutsky is in there. I say that's a Morales, JB is in that group, and Pahutsky, and then just tacking on at the end there is Say Hey Lewis Hayes, who we see in our Monday ISRA series, which will be at Old Atlanta on Monday. Joining me in the booth will be Mark Murphy on that, but he's tacked on to the end here. Just keeping it between the lines, and sometimes it's all you need to do.
I actually don't dislike Jeff Heisong's strategy here. He's just kind of tacked off the back of the pack here. He's not gaining on them, but he's not losing on them either. And although he's on kind of a strategy of his own right now, running the full 27, 28 lap fuel burn, he's able to kind of manage anything that could happen ahead of him and be able to get through any sort of incident. Whereas these guys that are up in this pack, if anything were to happen,
yeah,
they have to act very quickly. So I don't really dislike Heisong's just kind of hang back about 3 seconds behind the pack and sit strategy, because he's not going to be lapped. He's going to stay on the lead lap every time. It's only his fuel numbers that are really hurt in the process.
Warren Rogers back, the leader. He has led 20 of 86. Wagner trying to come to, Wagner trying to come to the front, and AJ throws a block on him.
Yeah, Wagner senses it's time to go. It's time to take this stint here, and I'm going to go to the front, and I'm going to get far away from Schaus as humanly possible. It's always interesting to see how these guys take this entire strategy and flip it on its head. They're like, okay, I'm sitting in this line. Nope, I'm not sitting anymore. But that just shows you that everybody in line here is saving fuel. They're doing what they can to not upset the apple cart of the cars ahead of them.
The top three are starting to put a little tiny space between themselves and Teed.
I believe Morales is the first car that's going to come down pit road this lap.
Morales is there. Peguero is there.
So next lap you'll probably see Gary Lovern and those guys at the back here.
Lovern now.
Which means that AJ Hobson will probably pit soon.
So let's give you an update. 23 laps on the stint for Matt Wagner, 26 for Hobson, 25 for Warren Rogers, 24 for Teed, 21 for Peterson, 22 for Murphy, 23 for Schaus, 24 for Santos, 22 for Eckert, and 22 for Cohn. That is your top 10 in terms of the length of stint.
These guys at the bottom part of the top 10 are really starting to get feisty here. Actually, even closer than that, the bottom part of the top 5. As you can see, I think that's Mark Cohn that's moving, or sorry, Schaus up ahead. That's starting to make some moves here. He saw Wagner start to move. He's like, I got to move as well.
Yeah, and let's face it, if there's going to be a wreck, it's going to happen probably behind Wagner. So you want to get up there and join him. And right now he's pinched in with Murphy on the outside through the short chute in the 4. Murph's going to have the ability of the draft there to keep the position. Boy, that was some tight, close racing right there. Now he's going to try the outside. Murph's going to go to the inside there. Peterson in the 1 trying for that spot. But he's got 2 cars directly in front of him blocking the good air on either lane. And Murph blanks out. Now he's back.
It looks like these guys have made it another lap or so on their fuel save strategy, so I think we're going to start to see some of these guys start to pit here. I think probably this lap, if not this lap, the next one. Yep, we're on finishing lap 90 now, so it looks like these guys have managed to save another lap on the fuel strategy here just by kind of taking turns leading or staying in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th region.
And there's Heisong coming off of pit road.
Poor Jeff Heisong's going to come out right in the middle of this back here.
Now, the thing is, he's going to have fresh tires, but he's going to be coming up to speed. I don't think he'll be able to be fully up to speed yet, but he's going to now try to merge in with this group and get a low, very low angle of attack going into 3.
You know, AJ Hobson will be the first one to come down pit road whenever
29 laps on his current stint, went 31 last time. Here comes one of the leader energy cars going 3 wide in the 1.
So that Eckert touches Teed in the wall.
Teed and Peterson, and there's your caution.
It looks like Eckert really tried his best to try and slide his way right on the bottom of turn 1 there, and unfortunately I think that just pushed Teed all the way up the track, and Teed had nothing he could do there to fight that.
And he's trying to get his car pointed in the right direction. He's going to have to tow that one, unfortunately. I don't think he can drive that back, and that's unfortunately going to put him a lap down. Peterson can probably get that back to pit road and get the fast repair. And there's a third car involved there.
I think Edson went underneath Peterson's car, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look at it.
I'm just trying to find out who all of them. Let's get back in the... Yeah, let's get back and see who we can find out what here. So, all right, there he is. This is coming down the main straight. We have one of the leaner energy cars. I believe that is Edson Santos.
It's actually Eckert, I believe. That
Eckert, okay. Get a higher angle here. And it was, we're watching Peterson. Teed into the wall, going 3 wide, cuts across the nose. Yeah, and one of the other...
Yeah, that was Santos going underneath Peterson's flipping car.
I thought I saw a third car that was involved there. There is Peterson coming off of the access road there, so I'm not sure what happened. Did Santos? This is Eckert, sorry. Yeah, that's Santos. You have an incident where he was damaged. No, there's a car to the inside, and it's blown up. That's not Teed.
Yeah, it was Teed and Peterson. Peterson was the one flipping there, and I believe Santos got into it. But there might have been another car that was in the mix there.
Trying to find out who's on the bottom of that picture. Well, we are under caution, though, so we can cycle through this and find out who is... That's Wagner, there's Murphy, there's Schaus, there's Rogers, Eckert, Forsyth, Cone, there's Santos. Oh, it's AJ! What happened to AJ? So we go back about 30 seconds longer on AJ. So whatever happened is it's happened behind AJ. Now you see the caution light flashing on the back of Wagner's car.
Looks like AJ had an incident all by himself.
Yeah. Just trying to see what happened. He goes down. Oh, oh. and almost gets Murph. But that's what happened to Ericsson at the Speedway under practice. Got down too low and got onto the concrete there and lost the car. And that's he's trying to run that back, but I think his engine's too damaged. He's got a tow, so that might be day done for him.
I hate to say that's the same thing that happened to your fellow Andrew Wood here at the Indy Elite Series 500. Same exact kind of wrecked. So unfortunately, I'm on a PTSD moment right now, Gary.
Oh, okay. Sorry to bring that back, man. Sorry to bring that back. Well, let's reset.
I'm not alone.
Well, everyone pitted. Everyone pitted in the top 12 there. Lovern is the last one that did a pit. He is on the lead lap at the tail end of this. We're getting ready to go green, I believe, here. We took a little extra time just to bring you who that extra car was. But A.J. Hobson's now 2 laps down. Unfortunately, that is going to be almost terminal for his day, although there is still more than half the race to go. We are green. Wagner, Murphy, Schaus, Rogers, Eckert, your top 5, but they are bunched up a lot further in the back there.
A.J. Hobson is going again, so he has managed to fix the car. Not sure what condition it's in, but he's back out on track here at the back of the field. So Hobson is still going. Charles Teed has quit, so that's day done for him. Casey Pahutsky, I believe, is still going 10 laps down, so he's still in it as well. But let's focus here on the front of the field. Looks like there's a bit of a breakaway ahead of Rafi Eckert.
Yeah.
Top 4 there.
Yeah, watching the Eckert group, though, that seems to be 6 cars, 7 cars, 3 deep at the moment. 2 wide, 3 deep, 3 wide going into the corner. Leader Energy Car is the sandwich, the meat of the cone sandwich there. Or the bread of the cone sandwich. Here comes Forsyth on the outside, getting a run down the backstretch. Now, once again, going to repeat it. Got the bread of the Leader Energy cars. They're going to go into 3 side by side. For teammates, they're racing extraordinarily hard. They might see that top group leaving, and they want to catch it. That's probably what they want to do.
Yeah, they have to sort themselves out very quickly here to make sure that they catch up to that group ahead of them. Because as you can see, it looks like the top group is about 1.5 seconds ahead.
Oh, Murph. Little swerving there on the back. Oh, jeez. Wagner saw that run coming. I'm just going to dip to the inside.
I think this is another symptom of Warren Rogers trying to get to the front as best as he possibly can, and all he's doing is losing that top group away from the second pack.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times today with a car getting run on the inside, either in the 3 or in the 1, and the leader just pulls right on down, and it kind of blocks it. I'm expecting that at some point they're going to do that later in the race, and they're just going to pull down, and that car is going to have such a run that's behind them. It's going to plow right into the back.
Well, I have to say that I think that part of the issue here is that the reason why Wagner turned down on Rogers is that he wants to make sure that pack stays ahead of the second pack ahead.
True.
And if Rogers comes up the track, all he's going to do is slow that entire pack down. But it looks like even with that motion there, hopefully Rogers gets the message from Wagner and from the others around, because it looks like they're still far ahead of that second pack. So you can see the Leaner Energy cars here are trying to catch up, but they have to do 39 in order to get up to them. So unfortunately, it looks like that this second pack is still going to lose out for now.
So the way that the caution fell, it fell right in the middle of the pit cycle. Just about everyone did another 30 laps on that stint for the most part. So now we're looking to get to everyone pitted at lap 94. Now we're at lap 100. So we expect the next stops to occur in the 120s, then the 150s, and then the 170s for final stops. So we're looking at 2 more stops at the very least to get home if we stay green.
if you say that they stopped on lap 94, then all they need to do is 106 laps. So that's what, 36 apiece.
Yeah,
That's difficult. That's difficult to do. I don't think anyone did 36 here, but you're going to see someone try something very spectacular in order to hang out at the back of the pack and see if they could do maybe 35 laps or so. But the thing is that you need a partner. You can't just run 36 laps by yourself. So
sure.
Even if you're way off pace, you can lose up to a lap. As it were, as Alexander Rossi did in the 2016 Indy 500.
Yeah.
But it's very tricky, and the way you could just see that they managed to get into each other's way, and next thing you know, it's all over. A caution comes out, and suddenly your strategy has to change again. So it's tough to make the decision right now on lap 102, but it's possible it could happen again.
Well, let's look at if we did 94. We all put it on 94. Did some caution, and let's say everyone just does 30 laps, just does the average here. We can see Murph go. So we add 30 to 94. That brings us to 124. So we figured it would see somewhere in the 120s the next stop. And let's say another 30 on top of 124 again. So that's 154. And then another 30 on top of that, give or take. This is no fuel saving. This is considering everybody just does 30, 30, 30. Get to the 184. At 184, you should be done. So I think we're looking at what, 3 stops, everybody?
Yeah, I think we got to do 3 stops. I don't think anyone's going to really try at this point in the race to try and save what they can to do it just on 2. But I've been wrong before with this kind of thing, so it's quite possible. Right now, it looks like you can see with the second group here that they have just kind of sat in line and really just tried to be nice and let the cars up ahead try and catch that first group. Whereas that first group is still very cutthroat. They're kind of all over the track, still trying to figure out who wants to lead. I think Wagner has really kind of supplanted himself right in the middle there. I don't think anyone else is really going for it, especially because Schaus is sitting in this pack as well. But it looks like he is going to just kind of wait and see, and if he stays closer to this pack, that second pack will have a very hard time catching up. But Edson Santos and Rafi Eckert are both doing a really good job trying to swap draft to catch, but it's just not enough.
And once again, resetting the field. Thanks for joining us. This is coverage of the Dark Horse 500 final event of the season. Double points. Right now, your points leaders are still Wagner and Schaus. They are currently 1st and 4th on the racetrack. I even think at this point, if Wagner does win the battle here, the war still goes to Schaus by virtue of at least just finishing within sight of Wagner.
You got your first pack up here that's running pretty solidly 40.1s, and then you got the second trend back here who is doing kind of a 40.1, 40.2 situation.
Yeah, Santos last time by. We'll check it this time by. His time at the line, 40.079, which is right on par with how everyone in front of him is. Everyone else in front of him is in the 40.0s.
I don't think that it could really be beat from here. I think that this is kind of where these two packs are really sitting right now. I don't think anyone could really run a little bit faster.
No. Unless the lead group starts to get racing. And that's where I think we've decided that 1st and 2nd and 4th kind of know the deal, but Warren Rogers, we're not sure in terms of his number of starts if he understands that he needs to race with, or not race with, but cooperate with the pack that he's with in order to keep that deficit behind them at a good pace. Otherwise, if he starts racing, which he's tried to do a couple times, it gets his fellow competitors in that pack a little upset.
They definitely got upset at that whole situation there. It seemed like they were really trying to do their best to to stifle any sort of movement there. But it actually looked like it paid off, because that Edson Santos, Rafi Eckert swap drafting situation that we got going on here actually hasn't moved them forward at all. It looked like they were kind of moving forward a little bit, but all they did was kind of keep this trend a little bit going.
Murphy, your leader, has only led 2 laps today. Wagner's led 25. Warren Rogers led 21. And Schaus has led nothing, but he's just been kind of following and keeping pace. That's all you need to do.
Now keep in mind that Santos and Eckert are going to be burning a lot more fuel than the cars behind them too. So as much as the first 2 positions are burning the fuel, so are these 2 guys, because they are not able to save the amount of fuel that you can if you were sitting maybe 4th, 5th, 6th place in the pack. So when we see the first bit of cars come in for their next pit stop, I believe that these guys will also be coming in early.
Schaus got up to 235 going into turn 3 there. He kind of rolls out of it a little bit. There you see Murph going to the inside, riding just over the shoulder of Eric Schaus, your points leader right now. On the precipice of his first series championship.
Ooh, Schaus had a bit of a bad entry in turn 2 there,
yeah.
And I was just gonna say that both Santos and Eckert ran a 10th faster last lap, so tides might be changing. And I will say that when you're in the back of this pack and you're not able to manage your tires as easily enough, sitting at the back of all the aero wash and everything, sometimes these guys can kind of sneak up on you little by little and then bring the whole trend up with you. Got someone coming out of the pits here. I believe that might be it's Yari. Okay, Yari's coming out of the pits. Not going to be able to really string the 2 packs together there, but
well, he's toughed it out this long. I'll give the man credit. It's 111 laps. He's a lap down from everyone, but he's got halfway home, not feeling well.
Looking at some cars farther back in the pack here. Looks like we have another pack here with Jeff Heisong, Gary, AJ, and Lewis Hayes that are trying to manage and get their way forward a little bit. They're right behind the second pack.
Hobson 2 laps down now amongst your early leaders. Heisong currently 12th, Gary Lovern 13th. Morales in that Nestle car. He's a little further on back, actually. He's in that second pack right there with Pahutsky. They're swap drafting at the moment. Gary Brubacher in that lead pack now. Now, there's been times where I haven't felt well, and I got into the sim racing cockpit, and I you tell yourself you're lining up, you're coming to the start, you're like, I really shouldn't be doing this. But then you get into it, and your focus becomes so much about the race and everything around you that all of a sudden the thoughts of feeling sick kind of go away.
Until you feel nauseous and you want to projectile vomit.
Right, and you don't want to do that if you have a nice expensive GSI wheel or a nice wheelbase or anything like that, that's for sure. But there have been times where I haven't felt well and I got behind the wheel, and just soon you get into the race, it just seems like other parts of your body just click off, or you just don't worry about it anymore, you just don't feel it anymore, and the focus is, and I've heard that actually happen to real racers before. They just don't feel 100% getting into the car, and they get into the car, and it's just like certain switches are switched on for them, certain switches are switched off, and they're just able to focus and power through it.
I have to say, Gary, I've done a lot of go-karting, and one question I always get asked is, what happens if you have to go to the bathroom? And I have to say that exactly what you're saying is kind of what applies, is when you're racing, your brain is in a whole different stratosphere of, I'm in a race mode right now, like my brain is not getting the signals of like my bladder is full.
Right.
Now you have the people that say, oh, I just go in my suit kind of thing, right? That's kind of the quick answer for everything, but it really is true that when you're focused on one thing, sometimes other secondary bodily motions, if it were, or things that your body's telling you to do, kind of gets pushed to the side a little bit, and it's tough for someone that doesn't have a racing mindset to understand that.
They are getting racy in this group. Yari staying to the high side. Go ahead.
That second pack is starting to move. Looks like Craig Forsyth, Santos, Eckert, and Cohn all did 39s on their last lap, which is faster than the 40.0s. 40.0 is kind of the lap time you're looking for in the pack, but you are kind of getting there. And they're not losing time, which is good. Like, it's an effective enough situation where you're actually maintaining, but yeah, I think they're still sitting in a good spot, but I believe that the Wiener Energy cars are going to be pitting first alongside with the leaders.
Yeah,
your motions there, a couple of wall touches, yeah?
Yeah, there was a couple of wall touches there. I don't think it's really damaged, but the Wiener Energy cars, I mean, everybody, it goes by quick. It goes by really quick here. When we start talking about one thing and then it just leads to action continuing on the racetrack. We just stopped, right? I mean, it just felt like we just stopped. All these cars are 24 laps into this next stint now, so they are staring at pit stops within the next 10 laps one more time.
And this 1.3 second gap between pack number 1 and pack number 2 really does not matter in terms of trying to stop your pit stop, because you could easily pick that right back up again once you do your pit in or your pit out.
There's that gap. I just circled it on the screen between the lead pack and this second pack.
Sounds like Gary Lovern has called his pit in, so he'll be coming in next lap. I think
There's Morales on pit road. Yep, just did completed his stop.
These are guys that I believe took the wave around as well. So they're completing their cycle. You have Lovern's on pit road right now. He's stopping right in his box. He stops safely there. Joseph Morales exiting the pits managed to cause some consternation between AJ Hobson and Jeff Highsong that are doing a swap drafting situation back there for P11 and P12. Or AJ is a lap down, obviously, but Lewis Hayes is there.
I thank everybody for watching. If you're watching, you're like, hey man, I want to try this. This is the final race, unfortunately, of the season, but there will be a season 7 or a season 8, excuse me. It has not. The schedule has not been announced. Right now, the plan is Andrew and I will be in the booth. But that's all we know. We don't know when there will be a start date. We don't know what the first race is. Don't know the schedule, anything like that. So, if you're interested, you're watching right now, and say, I want to run with these guys, because this is a free car. If you already have an iRacing subscription, you already have this car. You can join the series by simply going to the Discord link in the description below, joining the Discord, and that's basically all you need to do to prepare for the next season. I would suspect it'll be another season between now and the end of the year. We'll see. I'll leave that to the admins to announce that schedule. But as far as it'll be broadcasted, not sure where right now, but it will be broadcasted by myself and Andrew when that next season gets here. So if you're thinking about this, go ahead, join the Discord, sign up, and you'll be ready for the next season.
So we're getting to the point in the race now, Gary, where we want to start calculating backwards.
Yes.
In the race. So I want to say it's never too early to start calculating it, but it's at this point now, around 2 pit stops to go, that it's like, okay, where do I want to be in about 70 laps or so? So I'm looking at Eric Schaus right now. Eric has not moved from where he has. He's been 4th in line. I think he's really trying to save fuel. So I don't think anyone can cut a pit stop out at this point, which is what we talked about 15 laps ago.
Yeah.
But you can try your best to make that last pit stop as short as humanly possible.
Yes.
I think Schaus is thinking about that right now, and that's why he hasn't tried to kind of upset what's going on up ahead of him. So he's been able to maintain the position to the second trend up ahead of him, or behind him. But I think he's thinking about it, and I think he really wants to make sure that he nails his pit stop. That's kind of what his most important thing is here, in order to set himself up for the end of the race.
And actually, I could change the overlay to show that we have 78 to go. And that's when we start counting down. And here comes one of the leader energy cars.
Oh, there's an incident.
Oh, an incident, Murphy.
What happened there? I caught the tail end of that. Oh, wow. Yeah, we have to watch that one on replay. It was on the pit entry.
Leaders coming to pit road. See if we can get a good camera angle there. I think Wagner and Murph are working together, so they're coming to pit road, and Wagner gives room, and Wagner
Christopher's in the wall, turn 1, right now.
He's out of it, though, but he is hurting right now. I imagine he's coming to pit road. So a whole bunch of stuff is happening, and that's falling right into Schaus's lap, as now he is your leader.
If Schaus took the lead from Warren Rogers as Rogers pit. Yeah, it looks like Stouffer had a bit of a neck coat incident, unfortunately. Nothing really, no foul play there from what I saw.
This will be close enough to a scheduled stop that he should be okay. It's just going to cost him time on the racetrack.
He should be in pits, yeah. But it wasn't an electric incident or anything like that. It looks like Yari kind of misjudged where he was and made some contact with Stouffer there. Nothing too bad. Stouffer probably just needs a little bit of wing repair. I see.
Yeah, Yari was racing pretty hard back there. I wasn't sure if he was maybe trying to stay out of the way or he was actually trying to make some spots up on the racetrack. But here is Schaus now coming to pit road. This is for his scheduled stop along with Cone.
Stouffer had a normal pit stop there. I think he had just an 8-seconder. So
yeah, 9.3 in the box.
Yep. So I think I don't think he had any damage there. Maybe he has some side pod damage, perhaps. But yeah, it was just an unfortunate coming together there with some internet connection issues.
So now the key is, do we see Wagner come out ahead of Schaus? And I'm going to say no, based upon the coming to pit road and having issues.
Schaus has not pit. Oh, he's on pit
road right now. Here comes Wagner.
Yep, and Cohen's coming off the box as well, so Cohen's going to be coming out of the pits. As well as, who is that?
And Schaus is going to be clear.
It was Hayes.
Schaus is going to be real clear. So that's what cost Wagner on pit road right there. That little collision, the braking maneuver we talked about, and I talked about it earlier, is like, this could come down if we have a lot of green flag running to a green flag stop and someone trying to bring these cars from 230 plus down to 60 miles per hour. We saw issues with it happening to these cars at Motegi. We thought maybe they would have learned their lesson some, but still people are pushing the envelope.
Well, you'll see that Schaus is still getting up to speed, so Wagner is kind of closing on him, and now we got Cone going for a move down into
Here's
turn
Forsyth
1.
coming out.
And yep, and we got the last of the pitters coming in. Now, keep in mind from here, we're going to be able to make it on just one more stop from here.
Wagner, Warner on the wall. Warren Rogers in the wall. And that was one of the leader energy guys, I think, with contact. And up in the Craig, I think Craig avoids it, but LGN gets clobbered. His day is going to be done. At least, well, maybe he could drive back and get that repaired. There goes Peterson through the grass. A la Ferrucci.
It only got worse for Murph coming up on it as well. I'm not sure if you got there yet.
Here's Peterson. Watch, he goes just like Ferrucci.
Yeah, it was pretty wild there. Did you watch Murph come around as well?
And did not see what happened to Murph. So Murph sees what's going on in front of him. Oh, because Haisong comes almost to a dead stop and he clips Warren Rogers, and but it snaps back into place. So I don't know how much damage he has.
If you see Lewis Hayes come around as well, and I believe he gets through safely. Gary Levering gets by safely as well. Pohotsky. So, yeah, it looks like Roger was trying to get his car kind of set back up, and all the cars are in pit lane right now. So
JB hitting pit road at a weird angle, but it works for him. They're doing the work.
Gonzalez Nunez is still driving around, crabbing with damage, but he's entering pit road right now.
Craig is staying out. He's only 2 laps into his stint, so he's going to stay out. And also staying out and wanting to get the wave around, it's Hobson, but he's not going to get it. And here comes the rest of the pack behind. So there is Schaus. Wagner has recovered. That caution has helped Wagner. Peterson now 4th after doing a little landscaping here at the Speedway. Santos is 5th. Cone is 6th. I think, was that contact with Eckert to start that? I know it was one of the leaner energy cars, and he just kind of sent it down to the inside, thinking that they were going to be to kind of get it in there. And Warren Rogers had actually a car on his outside, so it was kind of tight to corners already.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was. It just was one of those situations where the car came out of the pits and didn't want to lose any more time, so he jumped up to the outside wall, which kind of caused chaos for the cars behind.
Wagner coming to pit road.
Unfortunately,
nope.
it looks like Warren Rogers was just trying to find his spot on the track, and unfortunately there was a car down low there. I don't think there was anywhere he could have taken his momentum, really, but it looks like it was just a touch, if anything, and that resulted in such an epic spin that really couldn't be contained.
So Craig Forsyth getting his rear wing under the bumper of the pace car. That's not going to get you any extra mileage here. Mark Cohn did come to pit road for a top-off. Murphy, not sure what condition his car is in now, but he did come to pit road one more time for a top-off as well. We are now at 70 to go. So a lot of these guys that just pit, we'll be looking at, let's see, 130, so 160, and a stop very late. So these guys trying to add some a little extra juice to the tank, maybe thinking about trying to go a little bit longer. Right now, let's just say, let's play math though. Everyone has stopped at 130. Let's say they go 30 again, that's 160. Let's say they go 30 again, that's 190.
Yeah, they got to stop 2 more times for sure.
Yeah, they do have to.
Happen. But they got the pace car lights off, so we're going to be going.
Well, you were talking about maybe someone might make a gamble. So now we got our leader is Craig Forsyth. He will be bringing the field back to green. There is a lap car involved, but a fast lap car with A.J. Hobson, who was caught up in an incident a little bit earlier, but he still holds the purple lap for the day at 39.4. And we are back underway, and your points leader, Schaus, is 3rd in line, 2nd on timing and scoring.
It looks like a bit of a broken up kind of restart here. I'm not sure if these guys are going to be able to find each other again, unless some stuff really gets stacked up. But it looks like Forsyth managed to be the big benefactor there. His properly timed pit stop where he didn't lose a lap and still has fresher tires.
Watching this battle now for 5th. 4th and 5th. Actually, 3rd's involved now, as 3rd's just in the front of this.
And we have the same situation with the leaner energy cars from before, where the top 3 has gotten away, and as you can see, leaner energy, there goes Edson Santos up to P4 next to Eric Peterson, but Peterson's not giving this one up, which is going to hold this pack up some more.
Wagner just slides on in there. Gives the Brazilians a little bit of a Brazilian slide themselves. Now we're 2 by 2 down the backstretch going into 3. Now we don't want to go 3 wide in the short chute. That doesn't really work other than, oh, and there's contact, and that's it. Wagner and Eckert.
Oh, yeah, it looks like that's most unfortunate. I mean, I believe you had the same exact, you almost kind of narrated that whole thing where 3 wide doesn't really work, but it's very easy to see a car pop out of line and kind of push out a little bit, and next thing you know, you kind of miss the corner a little bit, and I believe that's exactly what Matt Wagner did there. Unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
Championship implications.
Yeah, and I don't know if he can be able to get back to pit road. I don't know if he's already used his actually fast repair, so this is day done.
Can we confirm that he actually used the fast repair? Because are you talking about the incident with Murphy on pit entry?
Yeah, he did break at least a nose, and I think maybe damaged a wheel as well.
It looks a little benign to me, just a little touch, but like, Murphy obviously got the worst end of that for sure. But it's possible Wagner could have used his fast repair, but if I'm in a championship implication like that, I would want to try and save my fast repair for some melee that happens later in the race, such as this one. So let's keep an eye on Wagner.
And my overlay just went completely nuts. Not sure what happened.
Oh, no.
Let's do it. Let's do this here. Let's close. And it's like something happened in the session. That's really weird.
The problem with Wagner's situation there was because Peterson kind of couldn't decide if he wanted to come low or not. Wagner was low going into turn 4, and if you're carrying that much speed to the entry of turn 4, you're going to push up the track a little bit. So I think Wagner could have done a little bit more to care for his corner speed into turn 4. Especially if he had a little bit of a draft from Peterson behind, who he was trying to kind of offset a little bit from. But once you're in dirty air like that, to actually stay down the bottom line. So I'll have to unfortunately pin this one a little bit more on Wagner than on Eckert.
Mm-hmm.
I am watching Wagner in the pits though, and his car is getting repaired little by little. So I believe he's going to try and stay in this, because you never know what's going to happen later in the race, especially with your championship contender. So good on him to stick it in.
Yeah, just stick it out. That's what you got to do here, especially in these tight battles. Reset my overlay. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, that's
Wagner
better.
Is back on track. He is coming back out on track again. So, I mean, that's too fast to repair the car as far as I'm concerned. So I believe he did not use his fast repair yet. For your sake, it looks like we are coming to 1 to go. Let me see when.
Yep.
Pace car.
Yep.
Lights are off on the pace car, so we'll be 1 to go. We got Stouffer. Is that Stouffer? Potsky.
Yeah, we got Forsyth, Stouffer.
Doing the wave around.
JB's third? Well, I'll be darned. JB's third. Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who was involved in an incident, managed to get to pit road and repaired. He is 4th. Schaus is 5th. Santos is 6th. Lovern 7th. Peterson 8th. Heisong 9th. Cohn 10th. Now, Cohn dipped in a little bit later to top off the tanks. And I think he's still doing that. I think he's going to play the long game here. Then Morales, Hayes, Piguero. Murphy is rejoining the field at the back. And, yes, Wagner is going. And we'll jump in Wagner's car really quick. And he looks like he's tracking right.
I imagine with the toe he had there, I think he just took a fast repair. I think that was his one fast repair. He probably saved it, and I imagine you would do that, even if like a little bit of damage from one incident. if you're in a situation like this, you want to save that until you really, really need it in such a case as that. So good on Wagner for having the foresight to save that. But pace car is about to come in, and we're going to go again. And I think it's only going to get more batty from here. Check it out.
I think you're right. 136 of 155. So we're coming to go green at 137. And we'll go back to laps to go. That's not right. It's telling me 155 yeah, the overlay is not right, folks. Something happened with the way that this session is being coded or something. So the overlay is a little weird.
Got a lot of movement from AJ Hobson towards the back of the field here. He's back on the lead lap again, and in AJ Hobson style, he's going to be in the front before you know it. He's sitting right now around what is this, 12 or so at the back of this field here. So Hobson's going to begin moving before you know it. Yeah, these cars are slicing and dicing. This is the time to really make moves.
It's time to go. 138 of 200. There it is. Now it reset itself. This overlay. This is by far the most advanced overlay that I've ever ran, and here comes Cone to the inside with a rocket attached to the back of his car. 2P2, and Jari Brubacher, the man who's not sick is sick all the way to the lead.
You just never know what happens in Indy, Gary.
You just never know.
These weird strategies.
Here comes Murphy to the inside, looking to go 3 wide in the 1. This is so.
It's getting crazy now, and look at Eric. Eric Schaus is sitting here saying, "Get me out of this mess. I am not being collected in anything. This is textbook Eric Schaus situation, going for a championship." I've always known Eric to be a very aggressive driver, someone who really wants to make their way to the lead as fast as they can, and Schaus is driving a whole different demeanor this season. I could see it in his driving that he is thinking championship, and he knows he has a great shot now, especially with Wagner's woes here. No matter what Jari does up front, as long as Eric can kind of hang in the front, I believe that his maturity is going to show forward here.
And can you double check your timing and scoring? Is Hobson back on the lead lap?
Yes, he rejoined the lead lap there. He got wave around.
This is amazing, folks. I mean, a series of, I don't want to call it unfortunate events, but events has just led to everybody basically being back on the lead lap. Wagner is now showing a lap down. But again, that's still not too late. I mean, we still have 60 laps to go in this race as we got guys flirting with that super high line off of 4. But, I mean, let's just talk about stories that have developed. Here comes Murph, who was involved in an incident on pit road not much more than 30 or 40 laps ago. He is now P2. Jari Brubacher, who is P3 in the standings, who at one point was a lap down, at one point was not feeling well and didn't think he was going to be in this race, at one point was racing all by himself on the circuit, is now amongst the leaders, and then he's in P2. Here comes AJ Hobson. He was down 2 laps after being caught up in an incident. He's back in the battle. He's the one he's probably been the fastest car on the racetrack all day. And Mark Cohn has been at the front all day long, and he's just been hanging out, and he continues to be there. The stories of what we're watching is remarkable. Just remarkable.
You forgot one. You've got Matt Wagner, who's driving like a madman through the field right now, and he's up to about the top 7 area trying to get his lap back.
Yeah, he needs to get in front of this whole train right here. Other stories on the racetrack. Hobson again up 15 spots. Brubacher up 18 spots.
Oh, Wagner almost just ran into the left rear of Craig Forsythe.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
After he just completely cut Stouffer off on the back straightaway. So
I don't know. I don't know who's all used fast. I don't know who's all used fast repairs either. That's one of these things that I've asked the developer.
Wagner, he's coming.
Here he comes with LGN. LGN just holds it. Here comes Craig to the inside. Now go to the outside, trying to get some free air. I've asked the developer to, one of the things you can do is one of the numbers you can capture for your overlays is the number of fast repairs left. Because right now it's just best guess. Here he comes. And Murph just lets him go.
He passed about 4 cars
Yeah.
in turn 3 there. I don't know. This is a little reckless to me, but I can totally understand where Wagner is coming from right now. He's definitely driving a little heated, but he wants his lap back, and the only way to get your lap back is to be the leader when the caution comes out. So Wagner has sufficiently passed all 12 cars, and everyone's just kind of waving as he goes by, and sure enough, Wagner is now the lead of the pack, but not the leader of the race.
And here comes AJ. Wagner's like, nope. He goes to the inside to protect the position. You're not going to get me a lap down. He wants to make sure that if there's a caution that comes out, he is the car that's ahead of this whole group. Eckert, Rogers, and Teed are showed out. We still have 17 cars running. They're all right pretty much in this pack. Casey Pahutsky is a little ways. He's actually in the middle of this pack as well. He's right there in the about 3 from the end. So everybody's all together. A.J. Hobson's your leader, but second on the picture as Matt Wagner is your leader, or is currently leading this group, but he is now in 16th spot at the tail end of the lead lap.
Well, the thing is that Wagner keeps shutting the door on these guys, but all that's doing is causing more and more checkups for the rest of the field. So I don't want to say he's trying to cause a caution, but he's causing a situation where cars are ducking and weaving, trying to avoid the cars behind them, especially with the we've seen these insane drafts that these guys get.
Wow.
Yeah, so Wagner does not want anyone to pass him, but it's just causing a lot of confusion farther down the field. So people are either going to take it and try and kind of lift and save some more fuel, or they're going to try and just put him down.
Looking in chat, Wagner says never pushed up. Well, we saw a couple different angles there. We'll leave it up to chat to make a determination on that. Jim Herrick, the leader of the 4D crew, says good to see 40 guys are doing well, and then he says follows that up with spicy. And Herrick also says Wagner is running the "I dare you" line.
I could agree with that. That's probably a good name for it. I would agree with you there.
Now Hobson is looking at a pit stop very soon here. He's 23 laps into the stint. He can't keep this pace up all the time.
I believe Yari might be the leader coming by next time by, as you were talking about these stories. Oh, it looks like AJ actually might be going by, so maybe not, but Yari's definitely given him the opportunity to get himself back in this race.
Jeez, these guys, this is entertaining. It's hard to call action this entertaining, but it is very entertaining.
And if you take a look, Gary, you can see positions 6 through 13 or so. They're not playing this game. They're like, all right, you guys
go right ahead.
There. Yep. I'm going to save some fuel here and not really battle, because I know the checkups are coming from what's going on up front. And we got a car high there. Is that Peterson?
Yari, I saw Yari high. Peterson will be high on the high side as the 3. Well, move Peterson to P2. P1. Brubacher just yanking on the wheel, going to the outside, trying to get a run on AJ. Seeing Peterson pop out high, maybe get a sniff of the draft, get a pull from him. Peterson going to the inside, protecting the line now. He's just following Wagner on through. Gonna take a look on the outside. JB, AJ, not sure where to go. 2 by 2 into 1. Very interested party just beyond them. Luis Gonzalez Nunez, LGN.
Watching back from Jeff Heislong's view of the whole pack, it's just one big long train, and I believe that they are they're trying to figure out how to get the best last pit stop here. Like, this is what you really got to be thinking about at this point in the race. I believe that everyone's going to be stopping twice, but you could do your best to still try and shorten both pit stops. Do you break them in half, or do you do a full fuel tank and then a splash at the end? That's the big question that I think a lot of these guys are trying to answer in their head strategy-wise right now. So if you split it in half, you're basically going to have a shorter pit stop 2 times.
Right.
Could launch you ahead. But if you just do a splash at the end, then you're basically banking on there being a caution and those guys that may have taken the other strategy being in pits longer.
So I just go by the general rule of thumb, and I don't know if you've worked a 500 broadcast with me, but I call it the Nick de Groot strat. And anytime you're 30 laps from the end, that's your final stop. And it kind of goes back to what Mark Janes was saying in the booth to us when we were doing the ERL Indy 500. He said Davey Hamilton works as a driver expert for his broadcast, so he says when the window opens, Davey likes to pit as soon as possible. And do we see someone? Can someone make it to 170? I think that's going to be a tough road to hoe. They're going to be really close. If they can make it to 170, they should be able to get home. But you're right. You're probably looking at 2 stops now. One at the end of this tank, sometime in the next 12 laps. So we're looking at getting people to 153. So we're rocking 165. So I don't think we're going to be able to get to 170. So we're looking at really a splash in the last 5 laps. Give or take.
That's what we're looking at. And caution could throw everything completely out the window, especially if it comes around like the 180 range. Because you're going to see guys that stay out, and you're going to see guys that say, I want the new tires, and I want to see if the new tires can do anything. But honestly, new tires are not going to benefit anybody in this race. Everyone is just so close.
Oh, Peterson slides on up. I think he was really kind of protecting the position, but I thought that maybe he had a bit of a big arrow wash. Here comes JB. He's going to go down and check the landscaping. It's good down there, but he needs to come up or he's going to have a very shallow entry in the 3. And he also has a roll out of it, and that's where you see AJ and LGN all of a sudden have to check up a little bit. Here comes Murph. With the help of Casey Pahutsky in there. He's in the mid-pack. Casey is 9 laps down, but he is in 17th spot.
Wagner continues to put himself in a good spot for getting his lap back should a caution come out, and I find it remarkable that nobody can put him behind. I don't know if that's on purpose or if he's really just driving such a line that no one can really get by him here, but regardless, the tires are starting to get worn now, so it's very difficult to actually try and put someone down. Put someone behind them, rather. But it'll all change once the pit stop happens.
No euthanasia is going on here, folks. No.
Yes, sorry. I said it 2 times before I corrected myself, in case you didn't realize that.
I understood. When we talk about racing, there's terms that come up that just they're innocent enough. Like when someone tries to describe the draft as breaking wind. Okay, that's double entendre right there. When we're talking about you're coming through and you're going to try to stick it in, that's a double entendre. We understand that, but it has absolutely no meaning to what any of that. We're talking 100% racing here, folks. And so here we watch AJ is probably a step away from pit road any moment. No, he is on 32 now, coming to 33 on this run.
I was going to say that's why everyone should be race fans, Gary. I don't know why people look at this and say, oh, man, you just turned left a bunch of times. So, I think A.J. Hobson's going to put himself right into pit road very soon, as you mentioned. So, I don't think the 170 number is going to happen here. I think everybody's going to have one more pit stop after this, whether it be a splitting it in half.
AJ to the bottom. Oh, he almost clips the grass in the 3.
Yeah, and he's already done that once before. At this point, I think everyone's going to go for the splash because here comes AJ in. Because at this point, I think if you wanted to split it in 2, you would have come in already and done a full tank with tires and then a tank with tires and not lose any time possible. And that time has already passed. So I think everyone's coming in to do a splash, other than Hobson, who of course is going to have a longer last pit stop.
And here we hear Hobson keeping the revs high, pumping that accelerator down and away. Minimal wheel spin. And now he's waiting forever to get to that last cone, come off the button, and then carefully, very easily to lose control here on this flat apron, bringing the car back up to speed.
Puhatsky got very loose coming up through turn 1 there and almost kind of scared LGN up into the wall, but no harm, no foul there. These cars are definitely starting to get a little bit squirrelier. It looks like the track temperature is starting to come up a teeny tiny bit from start of the race as well, so that'll make these cars
78, yep.
Still pretty cold as far as I'm concerned, but definitely notably warmer from the beginning of the race.
So everyone now is now Puhatsky seems to be a little racy. He is with this lead pack, non-contention, but could play a role. Currently 17th, 9 laps down. Had some connection issues. A little bit further back, that's Edson Santos that's popping out there, looking very high going in the corner 3 entry. Tucks back in. But I think everybody back from Murph on back now has decided that they are just going to try to save. Don't really see them racing. Maybe Cone on back. I'm not sure if Murph's made that decision yet. But Santos decides that he wants to move forward, but not going to happen. Stouffer runs it high and long and hard on the outside and continues to hold the spot, going out of 2 now down the back straight.
Oh man, that terminology, Gary.
I know. Now we're thinking about it when we say it. So
I think you said that on purpose because you said it with such vigor. Coming up on these pit stops here very, very shortly, and Wagner, I mean, is wasting as much fuel as he can, just sitting out front and blocking anything else from.
Maybe he lets Puhatsky on by. Puhatsky's worked his way up to try to lead this pack himself. Oh, high exit and entry into 1, gets it straightened out, but might be if Puhatsky has the pace. Maybe Wagner lets him go, and Wagner tries to follow him. That only gets 1 lap back for Puhatsky. He's now down 8 laps instead of 9.
I think any turbulent air in front of Wagner is not what he wants, because as soon as he gets any sort of turbulent air, that'll be it for him. But I don't think they have to worry for too much longer, because pit stops will be happening quite soon here.
JB looking on the outside of Peterson for the lead. Murphy now has moved up, so I don't think Murphy... Oh! He started to slide up. I think that maybe caught JB just a little bit by surprise. I think he's rolling out of it because Santos is going to run on him now. Santos looking on the outside again.
Well, I believe Puhatsky is pitting this lap. I believe he's called his number, so Puhatsky's going to give it up here, which I think will start the whole train to get in their pit stop rotation.
And this is 33 laps per Puhatsky, so he was very light on fuel there. Murphy to the lead. Murphy on the outside now with Wagner. He disappears. Now he comes back.
Santos and LGN just had a quick moment in turn 1 there. I think they might have just tapped. But no real issue there. They continue on.
Those are 2 fiery drivers right there. LGN former winner. Both of them former winners here in the series.
Here comes Wagner.
So again, he's going to have to stop again. I don't think anyone can go 35. So the farthest we've seen is 30. Hobson did 34 on his last stint, but that included yellow time, caution time. The legit green flag run that I've seen has been 33, one of which in that group was Forsyth.
We're getting close to that 33 number, but these guys are really starting to get a little squirrely here, so they got to make it 2 more. Here comes JB. Keep in mind, JB and these guys are ones that pitted before the caution. I think Forsyth might be going the longest right now.
Forsyth is 31 laps on the current set. Everyone's 31. Everyone's 31.
All right, so everyone did pit there, but that leads credence to if people can make it to 168, that would be 33 laps, and then that'd be 33 at the end. But again, someone's gonna have to lead this race.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is who decides to lead if everyone pits on the same lap, for example? Do you take turns? Do you let someone lead and sacrifice themselves? Do you wait for a caution? It's all to play for. I think like
Here comes Santos.
AJ Hobson folks out there are like, well, I'm going to go for a caution and I want to lead the race, which is music to everyone else's ears. So this is the first time really that I've seen Hobson just kind of hanging out and not really trying his best to fly up to the front.
Well, Hobson's right here. He's in front of this group. He pitted only 8 laps ago. But the lead group, he came out in front of the lead group. Lead group's run him down a little bit, but between him and the leader, he does have
cars
Pahusky.
Jump in right now. We're going to see some cars jumping right now.
So Murph coming down. Oh, Peterson almost did the same thing Wagner did to Murphy again. He might have touched the inside wall. Morales is on pit road. Highsong on pit road. We got Lewis Hayes on pit road. So these are next to last stops for all these guys. Maybe final stops, but certainly next to last.
I can't tell if Peterson's damaged or not from that. Like it was a light touch. He definitely didn't speed, but let's see what happens. Oh, he's leaving. So might have just taken the fast repairs while they're.
Coming out with LGN and Murphy. So Santos now coming to pit road. Santos slides in and maybe touched the wall. Right with him is Cone, and right with him is Gary Lovern.
Stouffer and Forsyth stay out, though, and that is going to make life a lot easier for them trying to make it to the end. So
and Schaus stays out
as well. Yep. They have to pit this lap, I believe. This will be like 36 or so.
34, coming to 35. Here they come. This might be a final stop for them. They cannot mess this up. Get down, no contact, no squirreliness. Don't speed.
Looks clean from my point of view. How's Wagner doing? Has he made it back to the front of this pack again?
He's still 1 lap down in 16th.
Well, let's see. He's coming around turn 4 right now. Let's see if he beats out these cars up ahead. He's passing Edson Santos. I believe Edson Santos is the de facto quote-unquote leader of the cars that stopped. So I think Wagner's going to beat all these guys out.
There's Wagner. There's Schaus. Stouffer's the leader. Forsyth second.
Here comes Eckert, though, or Santos rather. Stouffer wanted nothing to do with that one. He said, "Go ahead,
go right ahead." So
Stouffer started the turn and said, "Nope." I know what Matt wants to do.
So now Matt really needs. Oh,
yeah.
Maybe smack the wall. At Lovern 3 wide, going back here in this other pack. Move Lovern up to 5th in front of Murphy there. Murph crossover down low into 2, in front of the Sweets. Down the backstretch, separating. Oh. Yep, Cone taking evasive action, separating the 2 parts of the Brickyard Crossing golf course.
So this is not helping the fuel save when you're split up into different groups like this. Wow, that was close between Luis Gonzalez Nunez and Gary Lovern. Oh, and okay.
Okay, yeah.
Here comes Yari. Just a car appearing in my camera there. you got to sort it out. I know you want to move, but you also have to let the cars ahead of you. You have to trust that they know what they're doing with the swap draft, and they'll take you up ahead. Everybody wants to be the leader, but you also have to realize you have to save a lap of fuel, unless you're Stouffer, Forsyth, and Schaus.
So can these top three do this on the final stop? This is their last stint. If they could possibly do this, they went 35 laps respectively, with the exception of Santos. Santos went 34.
I don't know if you noticed this, but Schaus has completely dropped the anchor. He has left the front pack and he is sitting towards the back of the second pack, and I'm scratching my head a little bit at this because I would imagine he would want to try and stay with the front pack, especially because he doesn't have a lot of fuel to save here. So he must know he's safe from Wagner, so he's just kind of putting himself in a safer spot. But also, why he's just removing himself completely from competition here by now as I say that, now he's trying to get to the front of this pack. Maybe he had a moment personally that he had to attend to. He had to look away for a second. But yeah, okay, never mind. He threw out the anchor for a quick second, but he's back now.
Well, maybe he was doing the math, and maybe he sees that. Oh, Murph!
I think he's listening to me, and he noticed that I noticed that he was dropping back. He said, "Oh no, I'm just kidding."
I'd listen to the Catalyst, Andrew would. I would for sure listen to you if you said something. I mean, you're like, you don't remember the old commercial back in the 80s, but it was an old E.F. Hutton commercial, and their tagline was, if E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. So when Andrew Wood talks, people listen.
I don't think I was old enough to watch television.
No, you probably don't see that one, but I do say that when Andrew Wood talks, people listen.
All right. I hope everyone's listening to me right now talk about racing for 500 miles here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Schaus has put himself in the front of this pack, and maybe Murph will get him back up to that front pack, or maybe Schaus just wants to sit here. As we know, JB has an outside chance of winning this championship, but I believe he's a little too far back right now to take advantage of that. So Schaus is sitting in the catbird seat right now, unless there's some caution that mixes this whole thing up towards the end of the race.
Well, these top three, Stouffer, Santos, and Forsyth, they do not want to leave the draft of Wagner. They need every drop of this fuel in order to get to the checker flag or to make this last stop as late and as quick as possible. In the meantime, Wagner is praying to the racing gods. We're 3 wide behind him, and he might get that caution if they stay that way. Hobson, Murphy, and Schaus. Oof.
Hobson touches that the Andrew Wood curb in turn 3 again.
But they are not gonna. Now they're not racing with Wagner. Although Forsyth's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll use the pull ahead of Santos, and he does, and to the lead. Forsyth has led 14 laps today. Stouffer has led 19. Santos has only led 1. But it really doesn't matter, because we're getting to the point in the race where the one that matters is the one that ends this thing. 177 of 200 in the books. Coming up on the 500th mile here really, really soon in the Dark Horse 500 from Indianapolis. Final round of the championship.
Nasty into turn 1 there. Murph splits it up the middle, very close to Mark Conan, AJ Hobson, but yeah, this second pack, unfortunately, is losing the front pack very quickly, and I think it's going to come down to this front pack here, and someone like Edson Santos, who's sitting in P4, like Eric Schaus was on the last run there, trying to save as much fuel as possible. Wagner's doing the best job he can to just kind of tow these guys along, so it's going to come to Stouffer, Forsyth, and Edson.
So Wagner is now 14 laps into his current stint. So another 15 laps we really expect from him, give or take. That's going to be at 194 or so when he has a duck in.
I believe that handful of these guys are going to be able to squeak it out if they can manage to save the fuel possible, but it's very tough to call at this point based on, especially how the second pack is really running right now.
Santos might be able to stick this out, but he's going to be really close, I think. He's now 11 laps into his current stint. So if he even goes by the 30 number, he's going to be in the 190s for sure. But he went 34 last time. 35 for Forsythe, 35 for Stouffer, 34 for Cohn, 33 for Murphy. Schaus at 35. Wagner went 29, but keep in mind, Wagner was leading a lot of that last stint, just trying to stay on the lead lap.
Forsythe had a very bad exit at turn 4 there, and both Edson and Stouffer just planted themselves right behind him. They had so much momentum, they were like, nope, stop the car. So they're trying their best to save the fuel possible. Second pack's closing up a little bit. They're within 0.8 seconds now, but I think that has to do with what happened on last lap in turn 4 there.
I'm just going to go ahead and call it. I think Stouffer and I think Forsythe are good to go. I think they're good by to the positive of 5 laps. 3 wide behind. There's Hobson, Murphy, and Schaus. I think Forsythe and Stouffer are good to go by about 5 laps to the positive, which doesn't mean they have 5 laps worth of extra fuel in their tank. I just think that they are able to do it now.
I agree with you there. I think that they had the best situation possible. Hobson and Murphy have some contact there into turn 3. I think that's the second or third time I've noticed that. I don't think Hobson's doing any favors for this.
Well, and the last thing Schaus wants is to have that happen right in front of him as he goes 3 wide now on the bottom, going in the 1. Your points leader trying to finish out these last 17 laps of this season to cinch up the points championship, his first ever points championship in the Dark Horse Series.
Michael Peguero is upsetting the cars up front again, so they're trying to make their way past another lap car, and this will get interesting in turn 3 and 4.
Ooh. But it's allowed the second group now to catch him.
And Murphy's got a head of steam going up to Stouffer, I believe that is, going to turn 1. I think at this point your bed's made with how much fuel you saved if you were in the second pack. So
yeah.
Murphy will either make it or not.
Murphy 16 laps under his current stint. He went 33 last time. He is possibly one lap to the good. Possibly 1 lap to the good. Murphy.
And you still got Wagner up here parking the bus up ahead, trying to pray for a caution of sorts. But I mean, at this point,
contact!
We got caution.
And there it is. Murph's done, and so is Santos.
The yellow flag.
Oh, and oh gosh, Morales is in this one. But guess what? Wagner gets the lap back. And we got to go back and find out what happened there.
That was nasty.
Oh, that was really nasty netcode.
Morales had nowhere to go, and that was a completely nasty wreck. Unfortunately, this is similar to the Matt Wagner incident. I think Santos probably could have given Murphy a little bit more room, but unfortunate that the contact was there. But yeah, let's check out this Morales contact.
Oof.
I mean, from the onboard view, I'm not really sure where he was turning or what he was trying to avoid, because the cars up ahead of him were all clearing the incident, but perhaps he thought that there was a car spinning back into his path and he wanted to try and avoid it. But yeah, that was a bit of a strange one from Morales. Well, now comes the question, and I brought this up a while back. We got about 180 to 185. Do you pit or do you stay out? I think everyone stays out.
Oh, and Stouffer stays out. LGN stays out.
Stay out. I don't think there's any reason that that fresher tires will give you any benefit here.
I think I would have stayed out too. And I think at this point now in the race, it looks like maybe the cooperation between the 4D drivers might be out the window because, actually, it was fuel only for Forsyth. I don't think I saw him go up on the jacks. We'll double check that as we see him coming down to the to his stall here. I don't think he did tires. I think he went fuel only. So maybe he was going to come up short. Oh, we'll see him. I don't see the car go up at all. So no tires for Forsyth. Just just a dash enough fuel to get to the end. So let's reset the field at a 186. At 186, we got Stouffer staying out. He will pick up the lead of the race. Then we got LGN, who is P2 and has had himself a bit of an adventurous day. Craig Forsyth decided to stop, and everyone behind Forsyth came in with him as well. The only two cars that stayed up, were Stouffer and Nunez, but when Forsyth came to pit road, so did Schaus. Schaus is leading the championship at the moment. He is in fourth. Hobson has had himself an adventurous day. He is now fifth. He has still set the fastest lap very early in the race, but he's been by far one of the fastest cars on the racetrack all day long. He is, like I said, fifth. Sixth is Cone. He has won 4 out of the last 6 races, and he has put himself in position here to possibly win his 5th of the season. But can he get around all those cars in front of him? Right behind him is Peterson. Peterson would very much love a win here in the series and would love a win at Indianapolis. He is in contention there in 7th. Gary Lovren very quietly been having a day where he's kept his car mostly out of trouble and is now in 8th. Jari Brubacher, well, it looks like he might rough this one out, finishing starting the race ill. Not sure if he was going to make it very far. And he is now within 13 laps of the end here from completing the 500 miles, 200 laps at Indianapolis here in 9th. Lewis Hayes, in his, I believe his second start in the series, he is in the top 10. He is back there right ahead of Haisong, who's in 11th. Wagner, who has rejoined the tail end of the lead lap, is now 12th. And Edson Santos has rejoined the field as well, but he is now 1 lap down. That is resetting your entire field. Figueroa's still out there. He is 14th. Joseph Morales coming off of pit road. He is rejoining the field. And Casey Pahusky looks like in about 6 more laps will move up 1 more spot on Murphy, who is retired. Coming to green, Stouffer's bringing him down slow.
I think it's only going to get crazier from here, Gary. We saw these restarts on previous restarts. We got 13 to go. We got a lot of drivers who want to win the Indy 500. This is where it's go time. As we saw in the real-life 500 this year, we saw everyone leaving nothing on the table, using every inch of track, and I think that the same is going to happen with these guys as we have a very big move into turn 2.
LGN to the inside.
Edson Santos goes for a ride. Jeff Haisong collected, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, and I think the whole field has gone back, so I think we're not going to have a yellow here. That was a wild incident from Luis Gonzalez Nunez and from some of the cars in the back of the field there. If we have a chance, we have to watch that from Lewis Hayes' point of view, because he managed to navigate his way through that entire thing.
Let's see if we can do this one more time here.
Yeah, please watch from Hayes' point of view, because it was a wild ride for him.
I'm not sure what happened to LGN, but we saw it on the speed shot. He just saw an opportunity to go for it.
We have another.
And we are cautioned. So we will look at that caution situation here, what happened, and then here comes Lewis Hayes.
I think it's just a byproduct of the of the damaged cars.
Oh, it's like a scene from Driven. Oh, jeez.
I think the caution came out just from some byproducts of damaged cars trying to get back to pit lane. I'm pretty sure what the caution was for there.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it all was.
We had cars in the apron in turn 3. I'm trying to see if, it was damaged Jeff Hysong coming through turn 4, spun up onto the track and caused a caution.
Yeah, we'll just have to take a word for it. We don't want to.
Yeah, it's definitely just a kind of a messy situation. Hysong is none too pleased on driver chat as well right now. So
I don't blame him. I mean, he's got his car back into contention really when it mattered. Sometimes you spend 400 miles out of a 500-mile race just getting your car there, and then when you're ready to go racing, someone ends your day right then and there, and you're thinking to yourself, what? All the work I did to get up here, I could have waited just a little bit longer.
It's always a balancing act. This whole race, anything can change in the blink of an eye. So, yeah, I mean, it's lap 190 right now, and I believe we're going to have some even wilder restarts from here, and hopefully these guys can all get the finish that they feel like they deserve. I believe the Nunez incident came from he really sent it onto the inside of turn 2 over the bump there on the apron, and unfortunately he got a little loose and he spun low and back up onto the track, and unfortunately collected a lot of the back of the field. So, and
here we're getting to see Morales getting a waiver on, actually putting him back on the lead lap. We're going to go green here not next time by at 193, I think, to give us about a 7-lap sprint. Let me reset the field here for everyone. It is Forsyth, and the head of 4D Racewear is saying right there, teammates will be racing hard here at the end. So all bets are off for the 4D guys. They worked themselves cooperated here as far as they can go. But this late in the race, it is now all for one, and all for one. So Forsyth is your leader, followed by his teammate Stouffer. AJ Hobson, we've talked about what type of interesting day he's had. He is now 3rd. Cone is now 4th. Schaus, your points leader, 5th. Brubacher, 6th. Gary Lovern, 7th. Wagner, 2nd in points, is now 8th. Peterson is 9th. Lewis Hayes is 10th. Morales back on the lead lap is 11. That is your top 11. Hysong is now shown in 12th, 1 lap down. Luis Gonzalez Nunez is shown as out. Peguero should be able to pick up a spot here in the next lap or so. Same thing with Edson Santos around Luis Gonzalez. Will move them up a spot here eventually. And Casey Pahutsky, if he could keep going here for a little while longer, he will pick up another position.
Yeah, I'm glad Pahutsky stayed in this, and honestly, for someone who kind of dabbles in the series a little bit, this is a very good opportunity to get kind of an idea of how everyone races, and this is a great building block for next season too. If he chooses to come back, he can learn a lot just from watching how everyone races around him, and even watching replays and watching our broadcasts. So tune in if you're looking for the tips for how to race around here. You can watch this broadcast and listen to Gary and I ramble on for quite a bit of some good hard racing here.
Lights are out on the pace car. We are going to go green at 193. 7 laps to go to bring this race home.
2 hours ago we were talking about this Wagner-Schaus championship ordeal, and it really seemed kind of done, but look what's going on now. Like, it's not over yet. Wagner, we saw how much he moved up through the pack in that last stint. It's a little more difficult now that we're all kind of racing for whatever we got here, but Wagner has learned how to get by a lot of cars. So I don't think this is over yet between Schaus and Wagner.
Actually, we'll have 8 to go. My bad, the overlay, the way the overlay works. 200 is completed at the end of the 200th lap. So, as it should be. So we will be going green now with 8 to go.
Let's have a clean run here, boys.
Yep. So 2 qualifying attempts here. 8 laps, 20 miles. Green flag, in the air. Forsyth, Stouffer, Hobson.
Schaus kind of had a bad start there, and Yari's looking underneath him in turn 2, but that's that's one thing. But Wagner had just as bad of a restart as Schaus did, and he's under attack from Gary Lovern, and Yari's going for Schaus up ahead as well. Schaus just has to finish ahead of Wagner in order to win that championship. He's not worried about this race win. He'd love to win the race, but he knows it's probably not good to start fighting with 40 Racewear cars up front, plus AJ Hobson's
we're going to go
Mean Green Machine.
Oh, AJ Hobson to the lead. Oh, Stouffer in the wall, and he collects cone.
That was Cone and Stouffer, I believe, yeah?
Yes. Cone's still rolling, and I think he still has his fast repair. I'm not sure about Stouffer.
Yeah, Stouffer put himself in a horrible combo of a lot of dirty air and very tight entries.
Stouffer towed.
I think Stouffer unfortunately put himself in a really tough spot there of trying to find a way to hang on the bottom, but there's just way too much dirty air with that throws up from these cars, and unfortunately for him, he came up into the path of Cone, and that was that. Too tight of a radius there, as you can see from Stouffer. He's carrying way too much speed in order for him to turn that corner properly, and unfortunately there was a car there. He ordinarily probably could have saved that without Cone's influence.
Let's talk about the tires on his car. They were considerably older tires than everyone, and that aero wash.
That's true.
That aero wash, he just was not able to hang on there like he normally would have if he had a newer set of tires. I mean, does that play a role?
Absolutely plays a role, and I didn't even really consider that because I sort of remember that everyone pitted somewhat recently. So
the two guys that stayed out, LGN and Stouffer, for track position to try to get the win, their days are done.
Oh, that's correct, yes.
And now Craig is blinking. Cone still rolling, is getting back in line, and I think he just wants to get in line so he can go pit and not lose any more track position, although he is having a handful coming to pit road. The Dallara factory across the street is going to be getting a lot of virtual parts orders here. And boom, fast repair for Cone. Has it when he needed it, when it really mattered the most. 5 to go. He's getting whatever he needs to get to the end here. And he'll rejoin the field in 10th spot. Needs to stay out in front of Highsong. Highsong, I think, can... Highsong's on the north end of the racetrack right now, so he's not going to catch him.
So I guess we're going green here with 4 to go, not mistaken.
Well, it looks like Highsong coming to pit road.
3 to go.
Yep. So once again, let's reset the field. AJ Hobson is your leader. Craig Forsyth is P2. Your points leader, Eric Schaus, P3. Yari Brubacher, P4. Gary Lovern moving it up to 5th spot there. And if I tell you what, if Gary gets a good finish out of this, I will take all the credit of him being in a red car and getting better luck instead of being in the green car that he was before.
Oh, you said that last week. And Gary Lovern was in Nowheresville for the first 60 laps of this race, so yes, what a good comeback from him. And even Lewis Hayes as well, who had that extremely wild ride through that back of the pack wreck involving Luis Gonzalez Nunez. So I think it's pretty remarkable that Hayes was able to not only not get damaged from that, but also find himself sitting in the top 8 right now.
And then look who's 6th. Matt Wagner, our other point challenger right now. 7th is Peterson. 8th is Lewis Hayes. Back there in that Norton Spirit, Uncle Bobby's paint job. And Joseph Morales, who we saw basically blow up the attenuator, basically. At one point, finishes is now 9th.
Let's shout out Casey Pahutsky again, who stayed in this, and he's going to get himself a top 15 after after persevering through a race where he probably realized he was not going to pass anybody or just sit there in the pack. But yeah, we're coming around to 3 to go here, so I don't think I can call my winner, Gary. I'm going to try. I'm going to say AJ Hobson is just hungry for any sort of good finish here, especially because of how aggressive he's been. I don't think he's going to want to give anything up crazy, and I'm pretty sure that Craig wants a good finish, and Schaus does not want any trouble. So Craig might give him a little bit of a problem, but I think AJ is going to defend here, and I think AJ is going to take the win.
We shall see. I think it's a good call. I think Schaus really just needs to get through these next 3 laps. They're going to be crazy. And Hobson's on it, and we are green. 3 to go here at Indianapolis.
Great start by AJ, able to break the draft immediately from Craig, but Craig's going to have a huge vacuum, for lack of a better term. Oh, he parks the bus right there and prevents Craig from getting him. AJ runs low, similar to the Matt Wagner line from before, but Schaus is there as well, and I believe Schaus might just take that high line as I see here and just kind of lift and take it.
Oh, that was so
little
close.
Contact.
So close, and they're 3 wide behind him, and then Craig on the outside powers into the lead. Coming to 2 to go. Here's JB. JB to the inside.
It's so tough to decide if you want to lead or not because you never know when some back marker is going to have some incident behind you. So you really want to set up for the checker flag. But
yeah,
checker flag can come anytime between now and the
after.
There it is.
Yellow flag.
And you know what? Schaus is your leader.
Schaus is your winner.
Winner and champion.
I mean, Peterson got a piece of it. I believe Peterson and Morales, I believe, both got a piece of that incident there. But I mean, I know AJ's trying to get to the back wing of Forsyth there, but that was not really close enough to make any sort of draft maneuver there. So unfortunately, I think AJ just ruined his own chance of getting a race win.
We'll watch it one more time. Here they come through the South Short Chute. This is right over the main entrance of the Speedway. It's between turns 1 and 2. Now they're into turn 2 in front of the Vista there in the suites, and he tries to slow down a little bit, to hesitate on that run. He goes ahead and pulls out, and then contact with wheels are made as the lines were adjusted. And Craig comes up a little bit, and AJ comes down a little bit, and contact made. Cone looks like might have had some contact, but it snapped back into place.
Yeah, it was Cone and Peterson on the way out there.
And that is it. So we go back up to the front, and coming down the main straight here, looking at the checkered flag, is Eric Schaus is going to win the Indy 500 here, the Dark Horse 500, leading only a handful of laps, and clinches, not only wins the battle, but wins the war, and he is your Dark Horse champion.
And we mentioned this very early in the broadcast, Gary, that Eric is... I've seen such a transformation from his driving. He has always been a go-getter, kind of driving the A.J. Hobson type. He wants to race, and he wants to get to the front as best as he possibly can. But I've seen a whole different version of Eric where I don't know if he's taken some advice or watched some different races and different commentaries, but you could tell the entire race, like he fought here and there where he felt like he was able to take high risk or low risk moves and move forward, but he actually put himself in the best position when he was able to be in the mid-pack there and save the fuel and take advantage of making no mistakes and running like such a clean race that I really think he is the deserved champion here. Well, let's shout out Matt Wagner too, who all season long has been right up there battling with him, and Matt has always shown the raw speed, as we saw today when he championed his way to the front. He's able to command a field and he's able to lead a field, but every once in a while the racers just have bad luck, and unfortunately Matt Wagner just had that little bit of bad luck this season that did not get him that championship that he was searching for. But he was right there, and Matt Wagner will be a champion.
Yeah, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the final results here from Indianapolis. Eric Schaus, your winner of the race and champion of the league, finishes first. Jari Brubacher not feeling well, but manages to rough it out. We'll talk to him about how he feels now. Another podium for him, and really, as this thing works out, your top three in the championship finished in the top three positions here in the 500. Matt Wagner third after just trying to like mad, especially the last portion of the last, last 90 laps or so, 2/3 of it, just trying to get back on the lead lap. He finishes third. Gary Lovern, I will take all the credit in the red livery there, finishing fourth. Peterson fifth. Mark Cohn sixth. So not the fifth win in 7 races, but still a good finish for Cohn. And I'm sure he's looking forward to next season with the way that he finished this one. Cohn is sixth. Morales is seventh. Say hey, Lewis Hayes, in a great run finish, brings the Norton Spirit home eighth. Jeff Heisong ninth. Craig Forsyth 10th. A.J. Hobson 11th, and I know he wanted a lot more out of that one. Stouffer and Pagero, they say they tied, but I believe Stouffer 12th, Pagero 13th, Casey Putski 14th, Anson Santos 15th, LGN 16th, Mark Murphy 17th, Eckert 18th, Warren Rogers, who led a good chunk of this race, in 19th, and Teed in 20th. Moving on is Chris Reagan, who I don't think started the race. So only 20 cars showed up, but not a bad showing, really, and I think it was quite the entertaining race. And what I want to check here real quick and see if we have the points updated.
I was trying to talk, Gary. I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry about that. Yes, that was a very entertaining race. I have to agree with you there, and I'm laughing at myself. So, yeah, this race had everything that you could imagine. It had a lot of fuel saving, a lot of heavy battling, a lot of 3 wide, 4 wide, a lot of movers and shakers. You had guys that wanted to hang out in the back, and then guys that wanted to move forward. And I think this was the best kind of Indy 500. These cars, these DW12 cars, put on the best kind of racing as far as I'm concerned. You're able to kind of take sharper entries, kind of run high if you want to, but have long runs down the straightaways. These cars run so well at this speedway, and I always love watching them run. But these guys put on quite a show tonight, having those 3 full green flag runs at the start. A little bit of a stop-start situation, which we probably expected, but at least it wasn't a stop-start through the whole thing.
Right.
And these guys were able to actually put it all together to put on a good show for all the viewers.
Let's bring in Matty Wagner up into the booth. Hey, Matt, we got you here. No, all jokes aside and everything, calling you the stock car ace or no to stock car driver, man, you really worked hard this last 100 laps to do whatever it took to keep your car. You had an incident. You fell to the back. You brought it back to the front to get back on the end of the lead lap. You led the pack for it seemed like forever, waiting for that caution to hit. It finally hit. You got back around to join the back of the lead pack. And somehow, through everything, you brought it home third. And in most days, that would be good enough. But not today. But still, a great run despite everything. I think you should be proud.
Yeah, that little incident we had that put us a lap down. I had to go back and look at the replay. So what did he come down? Yeah, I looked at the replay. Yeah, he did. He did come down me. I held my line, but I didn't go down all the way to the white line. But I guess he expected me to be down a little bit further, and he just came right into me and spun me around, and that made it very, very hard for me to. I had to tow. I couldn't drive the car at all, and that cost me a lap. And after that, you saw the red in my eyes, and I was just, I am driving through this field, don't care. I'm going to get my lap back the old-fashioned way while these guys pity around and fuel save, and it did pay off. But the cautions, thank God that caution, it did flow my way, but unfortunately at the end, it did not go my way. Eric does have that horseshoe. I would like to have that horseshoe, and it's yeah, that Jimmy Johnson horseshoe. I'd like to have it.
Sign me up as well, Matt. I remember there was one period of time you called it the Henry Bennett horseshoe.
Oh yeah, yes.
But I guess he's long gone now. Conversation.
I hadn't heard a peep out of him. I miss racing against him. He was a good dude.
But let's talk about the whole season. What if there was one race you could go back to and change one thing that may have changed the trajectory of your championship? What one race, if you reflect back, do you look at it and go, man, like if I had just made one small decision, like obviously a wreck happens, but like if there's one small decision that you could change, what race would you change your strategy on that you could have gotten a better finish?
Wow, that's a really good question. I'm just thinking about all the races that I had bad. Probably last week.
Well, one that sticks out to me, I guess, might be the Motegi one with all the pit entry.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose that, like that one for me sticks out for you, but I was curious if there was one that just digs into the depths of your brain, going, man, I wish I did something different.
Yes, the speeding in the pits, and then Eric doing the same thing as me. I say that was pretty much, if I didn't make a mistake there, I would probably be the. I think Gary knows this. He's very knowledgeable in IndyCar. I probably would have won the championship without winning a race.
Tom Steva, 1978.
Yeah, I probably would have pulled that out. So.
Okay, all right. So Matt, when you watch this later, just let's pay attention and do a counter of how many times Gary interrupted me to do a stat of a previous IndyCar situation. Hey, I'm like, all right, well, you have the floor.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Please.
Sometimes I just don't have the off button, but here is your final stats.
Lovely.
Here's your final stats for the year.
Oh God, I don't want to hear it. Oh, it's so bad.
No, you got 12 starts, 9. You actually led the series this year in top fives. You had 9 versus Schaus's 8. You both had 11 top 10s. You had 3 poles. Schaus had none. But there are a number of things that you can go back and look at where I shoulda, woulda, coulda. But the 3 wins on Schaus' part definitely played a big role in him securing the championship. But still, being in the top 10 for 11 of 12 races in this particular league, when sometimes the racing was really tight, and we saw kind of a little bit of bumper cars in the last quarter of this race here. We saw that happen. Being able to bring the car home in the top 10 and at least 11 of those 12 races, still a pretty good stat nevertheless.
Yeah, it looks good on paper, but I don't feel it at all. You know what I mean? It's like when you don't have any wins, it's like, oh man, you step your game, you suck. You know, you need to get good, kid. I think maybe a change of mentality. Maybe I need to probably bring the most, probably the aggressive, Wagner out of me. But you did see that out of me today. You probably haven't seen that, in a very long time. And I had to do what I had to do to win. At least try to win. So, but I think I should try that next season. I think it's going to pay off dividend if I just be a little bit more aggressive.
I don't know. Hindsight's always 20. You be you, and actually, you being you is not too bad. I think a lot of guys would probably like to switch spots with you. So, congratulations on finishing third and here in the 500 and finishing second in the championship. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anybody that you like to say hi to before we let you go for the rest of the season?
I'd like to thank the Catalyst, Andrew Wood, and his knowledgeable IndyCars, and you, Gary Godso. You are a legend. Thank you for your broadcasting. Everybody, TWRS Setup Shop. Love you so much. 40 Racewear, and the guys over at Dark Horse who make the setups and all that stuff. And it was a great race here today, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. Next season, I'm gonna have to bring the aggressive person out of me. So look out. Here we go.
All right, man. Congratulations, and we'll catch you at the next one. We'll see you Monday for sure, ISRA.
Yeah, I'll probably wreck it too.
Congrats, Matt.
Congrats.
Thanks, man.
See ya.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, let's bring up JB here, finishing second. JB, we got you here in the booth. Probably when I brought you up first, if you're still feeling sick. So first things first, how are you feeling health-wise? Are you still not feeling well?
It went better than I thought. Like, I was really, just got a really bad cold, I think. Throughout the entire week, I was fevery and like just really tired. And yesterday it started to get a little bit better, and now I guess it's just the adrenaline from racing at Indy. But I'm feeling quite well. Didn't have any big coughing fits or anything throughout the race, so that was good.
I want to ask you two questions, Yari. One question I'm going to ask everyone tonight, and then a separate one. But I'll start with the initial one. You were a championship contender here. So is there a race this season that you felt you could have done a little bit better if you look back on it and say, man, I wish I made a decision to do this differently or that differently in order to put yourself in a better championship spot? I think you missed a race or two in the middle there that probably hindered your chances of being up there. But what race do you think that you could have made a different decision that put you in a better spot for the championship?
Well, yeah, as you said, I think it was Milwaukee that I missed because I slept through it. I didn't hear my alarm clock go off, so luckily that didn't matter in the end. But yeah, there were some races like even today, like I made the mistake on the pit stop and just.
That's my second question. Don't
sorry,
about that
I'm
one.
not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. So yeah, but just overall, like I felt like there were some pit incidents, especially early in the season, where I lost some points. So like I'm thinking of, I think we had the season opener. Was it at Kansas or Kentucky? I don't remember, but
Kansas.
I think it was. Yeah, exactly. There, I definitely messed it up, and yeah, there are just some points all over the season. But in the end, I think the gap between the positions was quite big. So there's not something that I'm going to be really upset about.
Yeah, so let's talk about that pit incident. So when I watched it back, it looked like you might have driven past your pit box or something, and you kind of panicked a little bit and did a little half spin in the pit lane there. Is that what happened? That you maybe not realize that you qualified so far back that your pit box was so far back that you had to stop for it, and you kind of panicked and braked and took yourself out of the pit lane there? What happened?
Yeah, that was exactly what happened. Like I was all of a sudden I was so surprised that the pit box was already next to me. So I then spun, but I think I managed to spin it back around quite well. Then I was a little too far in the box, but I was pretty lucky that I think I lost about 20 seconds with that, but it could have been way worse. But with the long green flag running, I was already thinking, am I ever going to get back onto the lead pack? But in the end, there were cautions, and yeah, that helped me get back there and neutralize that mistake.
Yeah, my last question here, we'll give you a chance for a shout out, is also when you're not feeling well. I was telling Andrew during the race that sometimes when you're not feeling well as a driver, that sometimes your focus of keeping the car straight, racing everybody, managing everything that you need to manage during the race, it turns off certain receptors in your brain and your body that you don't feel as sick anymore because you're kind of focusing in on, and you're putting all your focus and energy on one particular thing. Did that happen to you during the race? At one point did you not feel sick anymore? And you're like, hey, I'm feeling pretty good, of course. And then when you get to the race is over and the adrenaline turns off, you're like, oh, I feel like crap now. But I mean, were you feeling much better? You find yourself feeling much better during the race?
Yeah, I didn't really think about it too much. Just like as I said, I had to cough a few times, and I'm just a little currently just a little tired, like more than I would normally be, even at that time of day. So, but yeah, I think I was able to forget it quite well. Like especially after we got some cautions, then I could just relax a little bit for a moment and take a sip from the tea that I had prepared next to it, and yeah, just relax and
I
get
tell
back
you
into
what,
racing.
man, you Europeans and your herbal teas when you're sick, I swear that I don't know what you guys put in that stuff, but it works. Honest to God, that stuff works. I went to Germany when I was 16, and I wasn't feeling. I was there for 3 weeks for like an exchange program, and I wasn't feeling well. And the housefrau that I was with, she just like, here, take this tea. And I'm thinking, tea? How's this going to help me? Where's the Sudafed? Where's all the medication that I can normally get in the United States? No, just take the tea. And I took the tea, and I felt wonderful afterwards. So I don't know what you guys got in the tea, but it powered you through to a P3 here in the at the Brickyard, or a P2 at the Brickyard and a P3 in the championship. Your final standings here are your stat reads for the season: 11 starts, 7 top 5s, 11 top 10s. In fact, you, Wagner, and Schaus all tied for the most top 10s with 11. You had 1 pole, but unfortunately no wins this season, but I suspect that will change next season. Shout outs, friends, families, sponsors, anyone who will say hi to before we let you go recuperate?
Yeah, I also got 3 second places, so next season I'm going for the first. But so yeah, thanks for everyone. Thanks to you guys. Congrats to Eric Schaus for the championship and the win today. And yeah, hope to see everyone next season again.
You got it. Congratulations, and we'll catch you at the next one.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
I feel better.
To the life of me, I don't understand why SimRacer Hub doesn't show number of top 3s, or it shows number of wins, shows top 5, shows top 10s, but it doesn't show you if you finished on the podium or not. That because he makes a point. He had a number of top 2 finishes that we're shouting out, but of course I don't have that stat always available to me. Let's check out.
Always be improved.
Yeah, let's check out Schaus here now. Bring him on down give him lots of time to talk here. Here he is, our winner and champion of the series and of the Dark Horse 500, Eric Schaus. Eric, congratulations, sir. Not only did you win the battle, but you also won the war. 8 top 5s, 11 top 10s in 12 starts, along with 3 wins, which really were the difference in the championship. Talk about your race, first of all, and then we'll let Andrew follow up with his questions.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was a tough one. Most of the race was do what Matt does and just try and stay close to him. And, shout out to him. Massive recovery after going a lap down. So awesome podium. He made this entire race a challenge. I thought about halfway through when that happened, I was like, oh, good. I can just breathe now and just chill in the back and I'll be fine. And then, 15, 20 to go, he was right back there fighting and forced me to go for the win, which I'm kind of glad he did because it worked out for me.
Yeah, I got 2 questions for you there, Eric. So one question I'm asking everyone, obviously you are the champion, but was there any race in this season where you felt like you may have stepped back a little bit or misstepped a little bit and closed that gap a little more than you wanted to? Was there a race where if you had done a little bit better, maybe the championship wouldn't have been so close and you may have kind of walked off with it. Is there something that you did during the season that you wish you could have back and maybe make a different decision?
Yeah, I can think of a stretch of 3 races there where I think I spun coming out of the pits, I sped going into the pits, and then I spun again, maybe going in or something like that, 3 weeks in a row. And it was just brutal. So I'm glad I got through that little hump there and made it to the other side. But
is there a race in particular, like a track or like a specific place we were that you wish you could have back?
Probably, was it Milwaukee, the short track? I think that one I had started like 15th or something like that, and had I not spun coming out of the pits, I probably would have gone 15th to second there. I think I had amazing pace that run, and nobody saw it coming, and it would have been a really sweet one to nail home, and I spun coming out of the pits with I don't know, 10 to go or 20 to go or something like that. That's the one I wish I could have back.
Yeah, those pit exits and stuff can always kind of nab you and go, man, I wish I didn't hit the throttle so hard, and yeah, that's definitely one of those. But the other question I wanted to ask is, I did notice, and I said this a couple times in the broadcast too, that it looks like you have a more measured approach to these races. Because when I raced with you in Area 51 and everything, you always wanted to try and race everyone very hard and get to the front and be up front as best you can. But there's like a whole different side of you that no one's seen before, where now you're taking a more measured approach to these races and saying, let's let the race come to me. I want the race to be controlled how I want to control it and everything. So is that something that I'm reading correctly? Is there a change in your mindset where you're like, okay, maybe it's not best to just go to the front as fast as humanly possible and just sit back and let the races kind of just fall in my lap, and maybe that pays off for you more than trying to just race to the front as fast as you can? Have you had a momentum shift or different mindset going into these races?
It kind of depends on the season. Every season I'll kind of take a different approach. Sometimes it's, race to win. Sometimes it's just always play safe and fuel save every single race. This season I started out racing to win. But then when I had the championship lead and a decent breathing room for a little bit, I figured, okay, let me play this smart and see if I can get the championship. And that's what you saw. It was probably the second half of the season was definitely the more measured approach of let's be in it for the long run.
There was one stint in particular where it seemed like you I think it was actually the last pit stop where you came out with Stouffer and Forsyth up ahead, but you suddenly dropped back to the second group and fell back a little bit. And I couldn't tell if that was maybe just like a lapse in knowing where you were in the race, or like, oh no, I got to save some sort of fuel here or something. But then you quickly made your way back to the front, battling, I believe it was AJ and Mark Murphy there to get to the front of the pack. But you were stuck in that second pack, and Matt Wagner was nipping on your heels there. So I definitely, that was the part of the race where I'm like, okay, old Eric Schaus is coming out now and trying to push as hard as he possibly can to get to the front here. So yeah, that I definitely noticed there was a huge demeanor shift in how you were racing. So I think that was good for you for this championship battle, and in terms of making sure you were up front, but I'm sure you really wanted to get up to the front to the first pack there to battle for the win. So I definitely saw you had a certain control of the race at one point, and I think that was good enough for you to stay safe and stay out of incidents and everything. So nice job there. Did you feel like at any point that you had a shot to win this race, or were you really just going for the points in the end?
Yeah, I think it went back and forth. That incident where you talked about me coming up behind Stouffer and Craig, I fell back because I lost the draft to them. I don't know if I was a little slow going into my box or what, because I think going into the pits, I was right on Craig's butt or very close to it. So I must have been slow going into my box or coming out of pit lane. They just happened
I think it was coming out of pit lane.
Yeah,
it had to be, because you were right there, and then suddenly you were in the middle of that second pack, and I was wondering what happened there.
Yeah, I think Craig and Stouffer were right on top of each other, and then they caught the draft, and I was right at the kind of the draft end, 0.6, 0.8 seconds back, and because it was two of them catching one draft, and I was by myself, I lost it, and I fell back to the previous group. So at that point, some annoyance. Eventually, the group I fell back into, we were able to catch the leaders, and then, yeah, at that point, it was, I'm going to race at least for a podium, because Matt's right here behind me, so I have to at least be shooting for a podium in case he somehow sneaks out a win. So that was the plan there.
Well, the win today puts you now in a tie. We mentioned his name once already. We talked about Henry Bennett during an earlier interview. Puts you in a tie with Henry Bennett with 5 all-time here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, and you tie for 6th all-time with wins here in the series, with the win here today in Indianapolis. Your first championship overall in the series. So congratulations on that. I know you probably have a lot of people and sponsors, friends, family, whatever you would like to give thanks to and say shout-outs to, whatever. You can take as much time as you want. You're the champion. You earned it. Go right ahead. You are the series champion.
Yeah, thanks. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you doing the broadcast. I look forward to watching this. Shout out to Dark Horse for all the stuff they do in the admins. As always, it's awesome racing with people like Teed and Peterson and Haisung, Hobson, all those guys. We're usually chatting it up in the Discord, so it's always fun racing with those guys. Shout out to Matt and Yari for an awesome season and a really tight run. It's those guys that make me race harder and race better, so I appreciate them. And thanks to anybody out there watching.
All right, congratulations. A couple of weeks and months off. We'll be back at this again for the next season and a chance to repeat. But you can change that number 72 number to a number 1 if you want, because you earn that one as well. So congrats, man, and we really hope to see you for next season.
Oh, thanks.
Yep, congrats, Eric.
Thank you.
I'll just drop him down here in general. Let him go back to whatever channel he wishes. There he goes. Man, Andrew, again, thank you for joining me this season. You've made these broadcasts even better. I know you know a lot of these guys from Area 51. There's a lot of crossover between those two leagues. Kind of made your insight into everything that much more critical until how these broadcasts go on. But thank you very much for your valuable time. I know that you were racing in another series at times as well. But thank you very much. And your final thoughts here at Indianapolis, final thoughts on the season as well.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting season to watch unfold, especially for the races that I was here. And I was able to kind of watch the championship unfold for the last couple of races going into the finale. And I have to say, it was a lot of fun to watch. I had no idea who was going to come out on top, and that's kind of what the most interesting part for me is trying to figure out who the hot guys are, who the hot drivers are at any specific track or any specific racetrack or anything like that. And I didn't see that this season. I saw a lot of different strategies, a lot of different comers and goers and everything, and I really enjoyed it. So I can't wait for next season, and I want to see if there's any new faces that come around, especially these guys that just started a couple of races ago, and they may show their face later on in the Dark Horse series here, and we may have a new champion that we have to talk about that we may not even know about.
So that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Indianapolis. Eric Schaus wins. Yari Brubacher second. Matt Wagner finishes third. And so your Season 7 champion is Eric Schaus, edging out Matt Wagner for their first series championship. Let's see. Dark Horse DW12 series is brought to you by 4D Racewear. We saw a lot of the 4D cars at the front of the pack today. Check out their line of made-for sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in today's description. And we thank them for their continued support of the Dark Horse DW12 series all season long. Track cams today provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Learn more about Whiplash. Follow them today at Twitter, and also follow them or like them on Facebook. Their links are in the description. Let's see. I think you could join Andrew and myself here next season. Not sure when, not sure where, but you will be able to join us at some point next season when Dark Horse returns. just be looking for it on the series, and they'll make an announcement here soon. So finally, to my dad, this is Father's Day, who's suffered a lot over the last couple of years. You're a trooper, man. Thank you for everything. Without you taking me to the track all those times as a kid and introducing me to IndyCar racing, I probably would have never become a fan I am today. You've been a huge part of my life. We love you. We thank you. And we hope to see you real soon. Happy Father's Day. And I do mean that a lot. So for Andrew Wood, Ryan Eric King, everyone here at the Dark Horse Series, I'm Gary Gonzo saying all, thanks for watching, and to all the men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Once again, happy Father's Day. Congratulations to you, Eric Schaus for winning the race and becoming the Series 7 champion of the Dark Horse DW12 Series. And like I said, Andrew and I will be back again for Season 8. Stay tuned to the Dark Horse Discord channel for updates. Until then, good night, and until we meet again, we'll see you that time. Good night.